9 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, one person is dead and another injured after a house explosion in American Fork. There is still no official word on what caused it. Police in the area say it was a large explosion and debris was shot out all over the yard and street. Stay with KSL for updates. Retired KSL photojournalist Steve Landine lives a few blocks away from the explosion, and he spoke with us this morning.
And I felt this shock wave come through that was immediately followed by that thump sound of an explosion. So I knew something had gone.
He went outside and saw the columns of smoke in the sky. Video of the fire is up on our website at kslnewsradio.com. Our top national story now from ABC News. The Prime Minister of Ireland says he's going to step down as the country's leader as soon as a successor can be chosen. He says the reasons to leave are both personal and political. He was the country's youngest ever leader when first elected, as well as Ireland's first openly gay Prime Minister. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 35 points. We're at 39,146. Another beautiful day in store. Lots of sunshine on the way. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:02. Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Julie from the Visitors Bureau in Logan, and things are looking up. The sun is out, and you should be too. Spring break is just around the corner, so book your stay, pack your bags, and come and play. We're kicking off spring break with the annual Original Baby Animal Days at the American West Heritage Center. You'll be spread out over 160 acres of beautiful scenery while you pet all the baby animals like lambs, goats, piglets, bunnies, and chicks. March 28th through the 30th also features exotic animals. You can see baby bears from Yellowstone Bear World April 3rd through the 6th, which is also when Baby Animal Days combines with the annual Mountain Man Rendezvous. Watch demonstrations like flint and steel fire starting, bullet making, and leatherworking and scrimshaw. Wait, do you even know what that is? It doesn't matter. Come and see at the American West Heritage Center. Logan has so many great things to do. Come for spring break or anytime you need a break. Vacation in Logan. Just get in the car. ExploreLogan.com. ExploreLogan.com.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Don't you love an extra $100 in your pocket? Have a TurboTax expert file your taxes for you by March 31st to get $100 back instantly. Because no matter what moves you made last year, TurboTax makes them count. That means getting $100 back and 100% accurate taxes, only from Intuit TurboTax. Must file by 3/31. Credit only applicable to federal filing fees with TurboTax full service. Offer can be modified or terminated at any time.
Do you hear that? If you're like many people, that's the sound of your money. Just lying there in a checking or savings account doing nothing when it could be out there earning more money for you. But at America First Credit Union, we can give your money a wake-up call.
What? What's that?
Rise and shine, Bucky. We can get your money working in a high-yield certificate account, earning you a much better return than traditional checking and savings. Up and at 'em, buddy. We gotta go.
Huh? Where are we going?
To America First. You'll love it there. They're gonna help you do so much awesome stuff.
All right, I'm coming.
So get your money working with a high-yield certificate from America First. Head to americafirst.com today to check out the latest amazing rates. Subject to membership, eligibility, terms, conditions, and change. Federally insured by NCUA.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Heather Kelly.
Well, northbound I-15 still has our slowest traffic, and it starts in Utah County around SR 92, around the point of the mountain, all the way past 106 south in Sandy, where we had an earlier crash. It's now been moved over to the right shoulder. Then you'll still see a few brake lights the rest of the way into downtown Salt Lake. The 201 freeway is also overly slow right now between Bangerter Highway and I-15, with a couple of crashes thrown in there as well. Revere Health encourages you to schedule your preventative care and annual checkups to help increase the potential to live your most healthy and active life. Revere Health, your partner in health, your partner in life. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
The sunshine will continue today. Highs will get up to 68 degrees. Right now, it's sunny and 46 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
We are tracking very closely with the help of KSL News Radio's Adam Small, who's live in American Fork. This explosion, KSL 5 television is reporting that it was at a duplex. It happened early this morning. We got word of it about 6 o'clock here at Broadcast House, and KSL 5 television, of course, KSL News Radio. We are both on scene down there. And Dave, the firefighter, said when they pulled up, they saw debris everywhere.
Yes, damage to many homes around this explosion. As you said, we will continue to follow.
Well, and I also want to point out that we just put out this alert not too long ago this morning that they are reporting that at least one person is dead in that home explosion there in American Fork.
It's 9:06. It's time for the launch.
Sequence engaged.
And here are 3 things Debbie wants you to know.
Countdown. 3.
In our 10 o'clock hour, target TikTok. We're going to speak to an FBI supervisor. He's retired now, but he did investigate national security cases, Dave. I want to know what he knows about what the FBI knows, and they aren't telling Americans, and specifically the TikTok users who are all up in arms about the possibility of a ban, what the dangers are of TikTok. It just seems like the FBI director has said, well, I'm kind of very little.
And if they said, we want you to put out videos that make Americans fight with each other or spread conspiracy theories and get them at each other's throat, ByteDance can't go to Chinese court and fight the Communist Party. They would have to do it.
That's my understanding.
Part of my fear here is that there hasn't been enough messaging. I think they've failed, whether it's the FBI or it's Congress. They haven't shown us who has been affected by the potential dangers they keep talking about with TikTok. You've never attached it to a name, a person, a sob story, whatever it might be. But what it does is it panics millions of Americans that are making money on TikTok, running a little side hustle, maybe a full-time job, making money from TikTok.
Countdown. 2.
Got a warning for new car owners from KSL 5's investigative team. In fact, KSL 5's Matt Gephardt joining us live in just the next little bit here. I bet you didn't know this. If your car connects to the internet, the stuff your car is collecting about your bad driving habits is possibly being shipped to insurance companies.
It comes with a lot of risks in terms of the data that's collected.
And I actually really like this technology, tracking your driving, but I don't like this sneaky behind the scenes, shipping off this data to the insurance companies without your knowledge. That is crossing a line, though I do believe that this makes us safer drivers, and the data proves that to be the case.
Launch. Countdown. 1.
Stop complaining about high gas prices and do something about it. Come on. It's all we do is complain about high gas prices, and then we go fill up again and we complain about it again. Either drive less, start taking public transit. I tried both. Those didn't work. So I went out and bought a much more fuel-efficient car. You might be saying, well, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard because that costs you a lot of money. But does it? There is actually a breaking point with your old clunker. And I was way past that breaking point. So Dave and I put up the dough to get high gas prices out of our brains. Dave, you did something too.
Yeah, and kind of reluctantly as well. I didn't want to dive into the EV world just because I like the reliability of gas. But I'll tell you, Deb, it has saved me hundreds. We're probably in the thousands at this point over the last 6 or 7 months. It has been fantastic. Maybe I can pitch you on it.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The launch.
Commence.
Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local stories.
Yeah, you saw that sign right. Gas prices are up, and they're up significantly from just a month ago, 50 cents a gallon, and you hate it. You're gritting your teeth. You got to stop at the gas pump again, and you're putting off that the fuel up because you don't want to pay. You're hoping it comes back down. It's not going to go back down. It's going to go back up. It's going to keep going up. I'm going to tell you why. And then we're going to talk about why you need to stop complaining about it.
And I can also tell you why people won't like our suggestions. Because I think what you said is reasonable. Yeah, if we can lower the demand for gas, then prices will come down. But my biggest frustration right now about gas prices is we've just stopped drilling. We've stopped producing oil in the quantities that we need. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from, is folks look at it and say, we've stopped building pipelines, we've shut down drilling, we have not done our job on a very large level. But what you're saying is, okay, that's fine, let's fix it today.
I'm not saying that's fine. There's other reasons why gas prices are going up. Besides that, I don't even think that's that immediate of a problem. I think the larger issue is we've got the summer blends coming out. People are driving more, and once that happens, gas prices go up. This is a thing that happens every single year. But the other thing is that was more surprising to me is Ukraine is having a lot of success in hitting Russian refineries. And KSL News Radio's Adam Small also adds this to the gas price problem.
AAA spokesperson Julian Paredes says this is normal for this time of year, but a couple of potential reasons for the recent hikes.
Definitely likely some refineries around the area have gone down for maintenance. But something that's definitely happening is some refineries are already switching to the summer blend of gasoline.
Paredes says that summer blend is more eco-friendly, but also costs more. However, things could be way worse. This time last year, Utah's gas prices were almost 50 cents more expensive than they are today.
Definitely something to be thankful about.
Paredes says if this is anything like a typical year, prices will likely keep rising a few cents a week all the way into summer.
Now, that summer blend we know about. That is something we've been aware of. You had a little nugget. You dropped it right before that. What was happening in Ukraine?
Ukraine is having a lot of success in hitting Russian refineries. The Desert News is reporting that. That's where I got that information from.
Wow.
They're having a lot of success, and therefore it is having an impact. And in fact, the expert they talked to in the Desert News said that's the wild card in all of this. That is kind of a newcomer to the gas price scene. So gas prices aren't going to be going anywhere. That war doesn't appear to be ending anytime soon. We're going into summer, not coming out of summer. And I got so sick and tired of complaining to myself about the price of gas and the wild card that gas prices were in my own budget. I was spending upwards of $75 a week to go back and forth to work. Now, I did not own the world's most fuel-efficient car. And on top of it, it was becoming a bit of a clunker. It was 11 years old. And it just ran on straight fuel, and it just churned through fuel. And gas prices and the fluctuation of them became such a bog in my brain and also a weight in my budget that I had to sit down and start doing the math. Was this old clunker worth it anymore? $300 a month in gas? Hundreds of dollars, and I'll break it down for you, in repair costs every single month? It just got so old that I thought, I got to stop complaining about it and do something about it. And you did something too, Dave.
Yeah, I bought an electric vehicle. Now, this is our second car. I would not recommend an electric vehicle because there is a real range limitation. But for me, for a commuter car, getting to and from work, it has been phenomenal. And it was far more affordable than I thought. And it might shock you how cheap you can get into an EV.
You're going to tell us more about how much you're saving by driving your EV back and forth to work. And I'm going to tell you there's a point when you're hanging onto your old car way too long and it's driving you into a money pit. It's driving you straight into a money pit. I'm going to break down the sweet spot when it's time to sell and say goodbye to the family truckster next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave and Debbie go out of their way to make sure you hear all sides of a story.
They're working the phones to get several viewpoints on for you.
Hi, it's Tim and Amanda. We get you the full story, too.
We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Master Electrical has upfront pricing. Now, if you're not exactly sure what that means, I'm sure you have been bitten, or you know somebody that's been bitten by that hourly bid. Someone comes out to your house, they're like, oh, I can finish that in a half a day. And then, a week later, the bill has nothing to do with the bid. It's just far more expensive than you had planned on.
You'll never see an upcharge with Master Electrical. Their system simply will not allow them to do that. So the price that they bid is the price you pay at the end of the job. And they do everything from lights to ceiling fans and now generators too.
Yeah, it's really comprehensive. They're experts that really live up to the name. Master Electrical proudly serves from Logan to Santaquin. They're always open, so if you have that emergency, you can still give them a call.
801-543-2222. Again, 801-543-2222.
Or online at masterelectrical.com.
It's NCAA bracket time, and we have you covered. This Thursday and Friday, get bracket updates every 15 minutes. Find out who's winning, who's losing, and who's breaking your bracket. KSL Bracket Fun, all day this Thursday and Friday on KSL News Radio.
Where does a journey to wellness begin? Do you start looking for diet ideas? Or searching for exercise plans? Actually, you don't have to look far. Just look to the first two letters of the word wellness. We means you don't have to figure it out yourself. It means your hopes and challenges are a perfect match for our knowledge and resources. It means anything you want to achieve, together, we can achieve better. Because wellness begins with we. Intermountain Health. The power of we.
When the weather warms up, it's like a stampede, except instead of dust stirred up by hundreds of hooves, it's a cascade of phone calls to Advanced Window Products. This is Jeff Kaplan. Soon as the sun shines and the snow's gone, people want new windows and frames from Utah's #1 custom window maker, and the wait for installation grows longer. But right now, you can get near the front of the line by calling for a quote and get $2,500 off when you purchase 10 windows or more. That's on top of the incredible savings for the highest quality double-pane windows and frames, any style, any color. See, at Advanced Window Products, they actually build the windows here in Utah, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. There's no middleman, and they can pass the savings on to you. They even offer buy now, pay later. So get in before the wait grows longer and get the $2,500 off. Get your new windows this spring. Make the call. Advanced Window Products, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or visit AdvancedWindowsUSA.com.
Starting March 18th for 3 days only, shop limited-time doorbusters during Lowe's MVP's bonus days. Buy one Metabo HPT 15-degree roofing nailer. Get one box of Metabo HPT 1 1/4-inch collated roofing nails free, a $49.98 value. Plus, save $39 on a Little Giant A-Force 6-foot, 300-pound stepladder. Shop these deals and more while supplies last. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 3/18 through 3/20. Selection varies by location.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have, because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
Check out AMCO's multiple financing options, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
Monster winds can cause huge damage to your roof that you can't see. Don't wait for a disaster. Go to the Masters at masterroofingutah.com to schedule your free windstorm assessment today.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, one person is dead after a house explosion in American Fork. Second, Unified Police have identified the motorhome driver who led a police chase yesterday and say they were responding to officers checking out calls from neighbors about a suspicious vehicle. Third, the Biden impeachment inquiry is underway. The House is hearing arguments regarding the president's business dealings. Right now, it's sunny and 46 degrees in Salt Lake. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
Gas prices are up 50 cents over last month. And I'm saying it's time to stop complaining and think about getting a new-ish, more efficient car. So let's talk about where new car prices are going. I think you're going to be happy about what I have to say. And then also, when is the right time to sell your clunker? Well, it's when this happens. You're like, well, what's this? I'm going to tell you in just a second what that equation is.
So I purchased an electric vehicle because of gas prices, like straight up gas prices. This is back when they were $3.80 a gallon, $3.70 a gallon. And then just a few months ago, prices dropped. Gas prices were under $3 a gallon.
We call that the Noriega effect.
Yeah. As soon as I do something, you try to sabotage me.
We noticed that. You even brought it up.
I'm like, because now the math wasn't working out as well. Because when I purchased the car, the justification was the money I'm saving in gas will pay for the car itself.
Okay.
Like the math worked out that just in my gas savings, by driving an electric vehicle, just the gas savings would pay for the car. So when it dropped down to under $2.50, I mean, it was incredible. Like $2.50.
I paid $2.44 a gallon.
Yeah, very happy for you. I was a little jealous, but then the math wasn't the slam dunk than it was before. But now it seems like 5 minutes later, and in the last month, prices have jumped up another 50 cents. Then it makes sense again, and it's paying off.
You just hit an aha moment for me, and that is the wild swings in gas prices. And if you're filling up more than one tank, and you're filling up more than one tank a week, and if you have a truck, you can't budget really for it. It's just a sliding scale, and mostly it's sliding away from you. You can't keep up with it. So it was dinging my budget so badly every month. I finally got to the point where I said, Deb, you got to sit down and do the math. It's just hurting. It's $75 a week for my car that's getting about 20, 21 miles to the gallon in the city, maybe 24 if I took a ride in it down to St. George. But I'm wondering, before I get to my story, Dave, what has your savings been like overall in your gas budget with this new EV you've bought?
All right, so I'm 6 months in, and I'm saving at least $300 a month.
So you've saved almost
$1,800.
$2,000.
Yeah, almost $2,000. In fact, I'm driving it. I'm finding reasons to drive the electric vehicle instead of the gas-powered vehicles at home. So instead of getting in the nice, comfy minivan, we will squeeze into my EV and drive everyone.
We're going to talk about the price in just a moment, a little more in depth, and where new car prices are going. And in fact, even used car prices have been going, and the predictions for the next couple of months. I think you're going to you might not love it, but you might like what the data that we've collected here this morning with the D2 Research Department. But the conventional wisdom to selling your clunker is this. And the equation is so simple, I can even do the math. When it costs more to keep it running than the actual value of the car. I came to this point late last year. You know how many times, Dave, I had to cut out of work early to drive my 11-year-old vehicle to the mechanic. It was almost every other week. You turned to me one time and you said, what is it now? What's going on now?
Sorry, that probably wasn't very nice.
No, it's all right. I get it. But think about all of the time, the headache, the anxiety it was causing me.
Yeah.
I live alone. I'm an empty nester. I don't have a ride home. So, my son was sweet enough to come get me sometimes, or my daughter, and take me home. But then I had to figure out a way to get to work the next day. Public transit, because of the delays on tracks and because of one time just getting booted off of it altogether, had become unreliable to me. I mean, booted off in that snowstorm when they had mechanical problems and it was unreliable. So I had sat down and did the math, and I put pen to paper, and it was $6,000 in the course of a year for my car repairs.
That you had paid in car repairs. And that's not even including your $300 a month for gas?
That was additional.
Oh, wow.
So I was driving what I consider to be a gas guzzler. It had become unreliable to the tune of $6,000 over the course of 1 year. I mean, it needed like a major deal with the oil pan, everything, which is almost $3,000.
So you're looking at about $10,000 in the last year in repairs and gas on that one vehicle.
Correct.
Did you have a car payment on that?
No.
Okay,
and
so
for years.
It's just $10,000 above and beyond having already purchased it.
So I sat down and I had a talk with myself, because I am a hanger-oner to clunkers. Yeah. I'll throw good money after bad constantly.
We share the same DNA on that, Deb. I do the same thing.
I am well known in the family for jumping the shark on vehicles. To where I'm stranded, middle of nowhere, car broke down again. I'm in it to win it. But this time I thought I'd spent way too many trips to the shop. Dave's getting annoyed with me. I can't count on my car. So I traded it in. I actually got a little bit more money for it than I had thought, which was kind of a nice bonus. Not a lot more, but a little bit more than I thought. So I wasn't too awash in repairs by the end. And I traded it in on a hybrid.
And why did you decide hybrid versus electric vehicle?
I was worried about range anxiety because that would be my only vehicle.
Yeah.
And I like long road trips.
Yes.
You know me. I like to just
Up to
disappear.
Canada.
I like to disappear on the weekends.
Yeah.
You all don't even know if I'm going to be back Monday morning. I'm on the road, and I love it. The hybrid is costing me about $35 a fill-up, and I fill up every other week. So I'm down to $70 a month in gas, and that's been consistent for the last several months. And I don't have to deal with repairs.
Because it's new. It's under warranty.
It's new. It's under warranty. And I did that with intention, even though it was costing me more than buying a used car, but just my situation. I found the used cars, they've just become unreliable much faster. So that was my math. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't expect everybody to run out and buy a new car. That's a lot of money. But that just worked for me. The good news is car prices are dropping, especially in the new car market. They're down $2,500 from last year, and experts see a drop happening over the course of the next several months, and also car dealers willing to make some deals as well.
But we're still seeing, Kelley Blue Book tracks this, we're still seeing that a new car, on average, costs about $47,000.
Yeah.
Now, the high was $49,000. It's dropped $2,500.
It's ridiculous.
So $47,000. So, again, that can be very expensive.
So what's your hack?
Mine is Noriega new, which is like, it's new to me, but it's not really new. I purchased a Chevy Bolt. I had been looking at electric vehicles, and I wanted something just a couple years older. But I found a 2017. It only had, so it was 6 years old. It only had 20,000 miles. It had the batteries all replaced because they had a little recall.
Which is good because electric batteries can be cost prohibitive.
Yes,
so
definitely.
So if you know there's a new battery in it, that's peace of mind for you and your family, Dave.
Yeah, so when I was looking at the 2017, it was $17,000. So it was $17,000, but the car payment, there you go. You're getting all the Noriega secrets right now. But it was a $300 a month, $310 a month. That's how much the car was. And then the gas paid for it. That's how I justified it. Now, there's another little nugget that makes it even more worth it for me.
I think this is a big nugget.
It's the tax rebate.
Yeah, I think this is a huge selling point, actually.
Not all electric vehicles qualify. You got to buy it from a dealer. You got to jump through some hoops. But it is a $4,000 rebate.
Wow.
From the government coming tax time. So I haven't done my taxes yet, but I will get a $4,000 tax rebate because of that vehicle. Now, the nice thing about 2024, and this is the difference between when I bought and when you guys buy, is they apply that rebate immediately. You don't have to wait till tax time. They will give you that $4,000 off at the dealership. They'll give you, I think it's $7,500 off for a new vehicle at the dealership. You don't have to do anything. They have simplified that process, which is great.
I love that tip.
So ultimately, a Noriega new car for $13,500.
You made me jealous. You made me second guess my decision to go hybrid. Oh my goodness. I'm having a little buyer's remorse this morning.
Now I'm a used car salesman.
But I am proud of myself and proud of you that we made the decision to stop driving the clunkers that just were causing us all kinds of heartburn. Straight ahead, there is a warning for new car owners from KSL5's investigative team, Matt Gephardt live. I bet you didn't know what he's going to tell us about the data collection that's going on inside your car and where it's being sent to. Next.
9:31 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story, one woman is dead, another hurt following a house explosion in American Fork early this morning. Fire officials say they still don't know what caused the explosion, but it did cause damage to neighboring homes near 330 East Main Street. The duplex where the explosion happened is completely destroyed. We'll bring you updates right here on KSL News Radio. A candlelight vigil was held for Alex Franco, the 21-year-old who was shot and killed in Taylorsville over the weekend. His girlfriend was at the vigil and says Franco had a deep love for his family.
I don't want to believe it still. I just wish it was a dream and that he was going to come home.
Taylorsville police say the teens who shot Franco have been arrested and are facing felony charges, but they haven't given a motive for the shooting yet. Our top national story this hour, the opening day Dodgers debut for Shohei Ohtani was almost delayed by a bomb threat. The game was held in Seoul, South Korea, and officials there say an email threatened to hurt the star as they played the Padres. 50 extra police officers were called in to keep a close eye on the stadium. Your money at this moment, right now the Dow is up 32 points. We're at 39,143. A lot of sunshine for us today. I'll check the forecast coming up next. KSL News Time, 9:32.
Hey, let me tell you, I've been losing some weight recently. I've been very open about this. I've been working with Salt Lake City Fat Loss. The website is slcfatloss.com. They can walk you through everything. But let me just tell you about my experience. They told me I could learn the secret to losing a pound of fat every single day. And I thought, oh, that's super optimistic, but I love what you're saying. Now, most clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two. I have lost 48 pounds in about 7 weeks. So, I mean, I'm almost exactly on that pound of fat a day, and I feel great. My clothes, I would say they're fitting better, but they're not fitting so well because I've lost so much weight. I'm like just cinching that belt like crazy. But with Salt Lake City Fat Loss, you can learn how to lose weight without surgery, injections, point counting, exercising, prepackaged meals, none of that stuff. All you have to do is go to slcfatloss.com to schedule your free consultation. Again, that's slcfatloss.com.
Hi, friends. Dan, the Laptop Man here from PC Laptops. I get a lot of emails with feedback from customers. Here's one. Dear Dan, I just had the best experience ever. I bought a computer from Shane at your State Street store. I asked several what I thought were really stupid questions. Shane was super courteous and made me feel comfortable through the whole process. People need to understand how important it is to support a local company, especially when your experience is so good. PC Laptops really does love me. Signed, Satisfied. I love hearing feedback like that. It really just gives me the chills. It's the whole reason why I got into the computer business in the first place. You can get a brand new PC Laptops desktop, and they start at only $29 a month. And it comes with a lifetime warranty. That means if anything goes wrong, we're going to take care of you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. That's PCLaptops.com. At PC Laptops, we really do love you.
If there's a problem during your siding, gutter, or window installation project, most contractors will try to hide it, ignore it, or blame someone else. It's called passing the buck or turning a blind eye, or my favorite, finger pointing. My question is, where is the accountability? Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors, and look, sometimes problems just happen, no matter who you hire. Maybe the wrong color siding gets delivered, despite the order being placed perfectly, or maybe a downspout gets cut short. Honestly, it could be anything. At RGS Exteriors, mistakes are rare, but if something goes wrong, I can absolutely, positively, 100% guarantee you we'll never hide it, and we'll never pass the buck. We'll make certain everything turns out right for you. That's people over profits. That's the RGS Exteriors way. For a free estimate on siding, gutters, or windows, call 801-280-3110, rgsexteriors.com, rgsexteriors.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, drivers in Utah County are having a real struggle on the west side of Utah Lake. SR 73 is barely moving. It's going about 6 miles an hour the entire way from Valley Drive over to Ranches Parkway. So that's going to take you an extra 20 minutes or so to get through just a few miles of roadway. And then once you hop on I-15 and head into Salt Lake Valley, you're going to see some slower traffic from the point of the mountain all the way to 106 South in Sandy. The rest of the drive across the Wasatch Front looks pretty good. Choose a gorgeous new countertop for your kitchen or bath at the Bedrock Quartz store sale, starting at just $39 a foot. Visit bedrockquartz.com. That's bedrockquartz.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Lots of sunshine today. Our high will be about 68 degrees, 67 tomorrow. Rain comes in for the weekend. Right now it's sunny and 49 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
You are not going to love this, that technology is collecting your data when you're driving your new car, because you think, in fact, most of us think, 64% of us think we are excellent drivers, or at very least good drivers. That's according to Allstate. But you're probably wrong about that when it comes to the actual data that's getting collected by your car.
Yeah, we think we're great drivers. We think our friends are terrible drivers. So, what do you say about that? Good driving surveys are entirely subjective. Let me just ask you. I'll put you on the spot, Deb. Do you think you're a good driver?
I think I'm an excellent driver.
I think I'm a very good driver. I don't know if I'd say excellent, but I would say I'm a very good driver. But that, again, is just, that's what we feel. That's what our gut says. Now, there's some technology coming in, whether it's dash cam video or monitoring devices, where we can literally measure how good of a driver you are. They will measure whether you accelerate too fast or you brake too hard, if you stay between the lines, if you're driving the posted speed limit.
I love that KSL5 Television's Matt Gephardt and the team in the KSL5 investigative unit start digging around for this information and the stuff that's going on inside our cars.
New reporting from the New York Times shows it could also be costing you money. The paper found that some internet-connected vehicles are sharing our driving habits with our insurance companies. That news on top of other reasons on which we've recently reported that insurance rates for cars are spiking. Tricia Madsen of St. George says she could not believe it when she opened the latest invoice from her car insurance company and found her rates had about doubled.
Kind of why I'm reaching out is because I don't want this to happen to a lot of people.
So what's happening is this technology is gathering whether or not we're good drivers or not, and then they're sending them to insurance companies. Now, a lot of insurance companies have this program. They're very transparent about it. You know you're being tracked. Matt, what makes this a little bit different is they were sending this information off to insurance companies, but the driver didn't realize they were being tracked, correct?
That is true, according to reporting from the New York Times, as well as reporting I should say, as well as a lawsuit, the class action lawsuit that's now been filed against LexisNexis and General Motors out of Florida. And a lot of it has to do with when you get these cars, these new internet connected cars, you sometimes are encouraged to download these apps. Hey, go get the app that comes with this, and it has all kinds of cool features. It'll allow you to track your car if it's ever stolen. You can remote start the thing. You can
Stop.
Unlock the thing from inside your house.
Matt, I think I might have done that when I bought my new car.
Of course you did.
I didn't even realize. I thought it was just so I could listen to Spotify on my my speakers. Okay,
and
keep
what
going.
You might not have done is read the fine print. Did you read that fine print?
I actually did read a lot of the fine print, but I'm going to go back and reread it. That's a fun read.
It's possible that in there you have, by downloading the app, opted in to them collecting data and sharing it. Now, some months ago, I did a report. We've been doing a lot of reports trying to figure out why insurance rates are going up.
Yeah.
And one of the things we focused on was what are called CLUE reports, which is an acronym, and I can't remember what it stands for, but it basically is data collected on our driving habits that has been shared with insurance companies. So the idea is Deb couldn't get in a fender bender and then say, okay, I'm going to fire American Family Insurance because they know about my fender bender, and I'm going to go with State Farm because they don't. No, there's this database that all insurance companies, for the most part, use to know, but things like fender benders, things like accidents, things like speeding tickets, those are the things we know about. Whether or not you hard brake, whether or not you accelerate too fast, these are things you might not know that you're being tracked on.
So when it ends up in the insurance company's hands without our knowledge, are they just handing that over, or are they selling it to the insurance companies?
I mean, I have my speculations. My guess is that these car companies aren't doing it just because they feel like spying on their customers. My guess is they're turning a profit. I don't know that to be true.
Yeah.
So is the solution, if we don't want to be tracked, to disconnect these apps?
You can disconnect the app. There was one of the people featured in the New York Times story literally went to their dealership and had them rip the internet connected thing out of their car. If I could just back up briefly, I would like to point out, one of the things that's really hard at its heart. I know this is a consumer story and it's how much we pay for insurance, but at its heart, this is a data privacy story, which can be a really tough thing to report on, and because it's so abstract for people. I've had this conversation with so many people where it's like, I don't watch X-rated movies. I don't cheat on my spouse. I have nothing to hide. If the worst thing that happened is I start getting some emails with things that I like, it's kind of like having a personal shopper. Who cares? And the answer is, and that's really hard to fight back against until all of a sudden we figure out ways that this data is being used kind of against us. And this is one of those actual tangible reasons why you might not realize that the data being collected, that who cares, just tracking you on your phone, just tracking you on the app, who cares? Well, it may be costing you more. The insurance rates have gone up 20% year over year. And if you all of a sudden had a deer jump in front of you while driving down Little Cottonwood Canyon and you slammed on the brakes, boom, that could be tracked as a hard brake, and your insurance company has no way of knowing whether or not that's because you were tailgating somebody who slammed on their brakes or because you actually just saved them money by not hitting a deer.
It's a great point. I mean, the alternative is, I hit that deer and then we're cashing out, a huge claim. But I think the argument, Matt, would be there's going to be a few times where the deer jumps out in front of you, but largely when you talk about big data, it's going to look at it comprehensively. And I think if you're consistently a good driver, then ultimately the argument is that it's going to pay off.
You are absolutely right, sort of.
Okay.
And I'll say that because they're these programs that you opt into, you see them advertised on television and radio and everything else, where you can go buy a thing that you can plug into your car, and you think you're a good driver, and it's a by use sort of policy. And I've done reports about people saving money by using these things. They plug in and prove that they're doing it. But it's kind of like knowing you're being watched versus not knowing you're being watched. When you have those things in your car, studies have shown people do drive better because maybe even in those moments where we get a little ragey behind the wheel, no, I don't want this to potentially cost me in terms of that thing reporting to my insurance company. So you don't step on the gas, you don't slam on the brakes, whatever the case may be. When you don't know it's happening, I would argue that's problematic. The difference is knowing you're being watched versus not knowing you're being watched. I think these things probably do legitimately. Studies have shown these legitimately lead to safer driving on the road if people know about them.
Matt Gephardt, thank you. What a great story with KSL Investigates.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
Appreciate it, Matt. It does raise the question, if you could get a discount, what about a 30%, 30% discount? Are you willing to let your car insurance company track you on an app?
Why wouldn't you want it? Because if you could lower, if you really did lower your
I don't
insurance by
want somebody
30%.
tracking my every move. I'm bothered by the lack of privacy and the wheedling away by that.
90% of when I'm driving, if I'm hoping there's no cops around.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's no cops around. Are you willing to let your car insurance track you on an app with your knowledge? We're taking your phone calls right now. 801-575-TALK, 801-575-TALK. Are you already doing this? Have you already opted in? What's your experience been? But again, give us a call, 801-575-TALK. Will you let your car insurance company track you?
Dave and Dujanovic.
Current events can have a lot of moving parts. Our job is to make it easy to keep up.
You're part of a bigger world, so spend 15 or 20 minutes here and be part of it.
Join us weekday mornings between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
You love the feel behind the wheel.
Hi, I'm Jody Wilkinson. You'll love the new 2024 Integra from Jody Wilkinson Acura. I'm excited to tell you that Motor Trend magazine ranks the Integra #1 of the best luxury subcompact sedans. Right now, during the Acura Spring into Performance event, Jody Wilkinson has a great selection of fun-to-drive Integras for only 1.9% APR. Or you can lease a new Acura A-Spec Integra for just $349 monthly. Our most popular trim level, you get the Acura Integra A-Spec for only $349 monthly. For offer details, text the word Acura to 57500 or come see us at Jody Wilkinson Acura.
Jody Wilkinson.
Downtown.
Acura.
1111 South Main.
Join KSL for a Friday night movie show special this Friday at the Jordan Commons Megaplex Theater in Sandy as Steve and Andy celebrate the opening of Ghostbusters and talk about other fun Megaplex announcements.
At KSL News Radio, we have a 30-year legacy of honoring Utah teachers, but we can't do it without your help. Please tell us about an important teacher in your life on a KSL Teacher Tribute Wall presented by Cypress Credit Union. Each month, one lucky teacher wins a $500 gift card from Cypress Credit Union, a $250 gift card to Harmon's, plus season tickets to Hale Center Theater. Say thanks to your teacher today at kslnewsradio.com/teacher from Cypress Credit Union and KSL News Radio.
What would you say if I told you you could get a free furnace? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I hope you'd at least say, tell me more. Now, before you get too excited, let me explain how this works and why we do our free furnace sale. We feel like we've got the best HVAC techs around and we want to keep them. But the only way we can do that is if they're working and providing for their families, so we set money aside for this free furnace sale. We're only able to give you this great deal because you're helping us keep our guys busy. It's actually great if you've been thinking about replacing both your furnace and air conditioner because when you have Any Hour Services install a new air conditioner, we'll give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it. About $400. The furnace is free, you just pay the labor. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services by March 31st to schedule a free estimate. One of our HVAC supervisors will come to your home and explain all the details. If you think you might be interested, call Any Hour Services today and schedule your free estimate. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
A happy place comes in many colors. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy. During our spring sales event, special offers are available through April 30th. Schedule your home painting project today and bring happiness home. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Feels like home.
Enroll in Farm Bureau Financial Services Driveology, and you'll instantly save 10% on your auto insurance premium. Over time, your safe driving habits could earn you even bigger savings, up to 50%. Learn more and start saving with Driveology at fbfs.com/save. 10% savings applied at enrollment for select coverages. Future savings based on individual driving behaviors and varies by coverages selected. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. Listen, we're fiduciaries. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. Now, imagine how that would be if you could actually retire 3 to 5 years sooner than your plan was. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan, taking into consideration any rental properties that you have, any pension income that you have, your Social Security. Listen, we put that all together for you in writing. It will allow us to build your income based on inflation. You know, inflation has been rapidly rising. You and I both need a plan that whatever we start out our income at, in 5 or 10 years, we're going to need 40% more income. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Hey, I want to remind you to download the free KSL News Radio app, and you can listen daily live to our Utah's Morning News like I do. You can listen to our show as well while Dave and I are on the show.
One of the things you'll love is the push notifications for all the latest breaking news and stay in the know on all the hot topics we have our eye out for every day on Dave and Dujanovic.
Discover the power of hands-on learning at Tooele Technical College with an affordable, flexible, and achievable technical education. Apply today at tooeletech.edu. tooeletech.edu.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, the Federal Reserve wraps up meetings today and announces what they'll do with interest rates. Second, Cache County Clerk David Benson is resigning after a controversial term. His office was investigated by Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson after finding evidence of election fraud. Third, one woman is dead, another hurt following a house explosion in American Fork early this morning. Right now, sunny and 49 degrees in Salt Lake. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
I'm looking forward to your live phone calls. Like, do you allow your insurance company, if you get a discount, to collect your data on how bad of a driver you are, or maybe how good of a driver you are? 801-575-TALK.
Yeah, you could get a 30% discount. Now, some insurance companies offer like a 3% discount if they can track you. I saw one that's up to 30. So that's not an insignificant amount of money. If you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to worry about, I would love to see this, especially for my teenage drivers. I would love to track them and see how they're driving. Are they braking too fast? Are they speeding too quickly?
I allowed my car insurance company to track me via an app. It was a couple of years ago, and I'm going to tell you what the outcome was. I wasn't happy about it. David in Lehigh, would you take the discount and allow your insurance company, your car insurance company, to track you?
I actually did. I got a quote from Travelers Insurance, and they, after I said, yeah, let's do it, that's a good price, they said, well, you've got to install this app in all the drivers in your home. So my wife and my 2 kids had to install it, and they tracked us for 90 days, and then we got the good price. And it was 30% discount. The app was called IntelliDrive, and I don't know if it's proprietary to Travelers or not, but anyway, we did it in order to get that good price.
Well, that's great. How much did you save?
It was 30%. It was exactly 30%.
Wow, that's fantastic. Congratulations. It sounds like you guys are a family full of good drivers. I don't know who's running the driver program in your house, if you teach or your wife, but that's some good teaching right there. Rodney in North Ogden, what would you do?
I've already done it also.
Okay.
And my biggest concern with it was the first couple of weeks, I found myself, if the light turned red, I wasn't sure if I should stop because I would get in trouble for braking too hard.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to go fast because then I'd get in trouble for speeding.
Did you feel like you were always, you were never alone in the car? Like your driver's ed teacher from high school was sitting right by you, Rodney?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the first couple of weeks, I always felt like I was under somebody's watchful eye. Eventually, I had to train myself, forget it. It doesn't matter. I'll just drive how I drive and let the chips fall where they may.
I did feel like I was being watched at all times, and I always drive alone because it's just me now.
Do you think you became a better driver Like even subconsciously?
Oh, probably not, because I am.
You drive the way you drive.
I drive the way I drive, and I'm not a terrible driver. I'm always, careful when to stop at red lights. Occasionally I'm like Rodney, like, oh, should I go? Should I stop? Should I not? And I don't tailgate. I don't speed. And my previous car that I had actually it would throw up the speed I was going on the window, the windshield.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't even have to look down at the speedometer. It
like
just said
those.
it right there. Oh, yeah. It made it really easy to know when I was going too fast. So, hi, Rusty. Hi.
Good morning.
Hey, how's Ogden treating you?
Hey, Ogden's the best.
Okay.
Don't anybody more move here. It's
That's
not
right.
a good place to live.
Right. So, would you take the
No,
discount?
You know what? This is interesting topic because I've just been looking at this, and they were telling me, okay, listen to these discounts, and one was this Pilot app, and I asked about it, and I said, now what does that cover? And they said it only refers to brake checking. And then I got thinking about that, and I thought, well, what if a dog runs out? Or I've got those little backup detectors on my car, and sometimes if I'm just backing out of a steep driveway, it'll just stop me. And I'm not doing that, but it's jerking the car to a stop. And I'm wondering, what about those things? And anyway, your Gephardt's comments are making me reconsider because I never brake. I don't want to be punished for all these crazies who are
What do you tuck and roll out of the car? I mean, how do you park? I mean, you must brake one. What you're just worried about is all the unknowns that aren't your fault. The cat runs out. Right. The squirrel runs out in front of the car. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my concern. But now I'm wondering what discount is it? How much is the discount?
Well, and you don't know if you're going to get a discount. You have to drive it. You have to use it, and then they add up your score. I don't know how it works behind the scenes. It's like there's the Wizard of Oz is behind the curtain, and then you figure out that mine actually went up. Now, it doesn't mean I'm a bad driver. I didn't feel like I was a bad driver, but I don't know if I got a low quote to begin with. Mine went up after I did the app or whatever.
You're a bad driver.
Well, I don't know that I am.
Why did it go up?
Well, a lot of people's insurance are going up.
It has. They've gone up on average 24% in just the last year.
Here's the problem with that, Dave, is you don't really know why it went up. Are they just adjusting because
inflation?
A lot of people are experiencing this, and not everybody has these apps. Now, mine went up. I was glad to hear that David and Lehi's went down, and his whole family was on the app. It was just me on the app. So I was a little disappointed by the outcome. Actually, really disappointed.
I would be disappointed as well because you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get a big discount.
Like, why did I do this? Yeah. It was only an advantage, one-way advantage, and it wasn't to me.
Let me speak a little bit to the braking, the dog that comes out, the kid's ball that bounces across and you slam on the brakes, or the deer that crosses the road. This maybe goes back to my baseball days. I'm a huge analytics guy. I want to know if a guy's batting 225 under the lights in a full moon at Wrigley, right? I mean, there's such granular information. It's very easy to focus on, oh, that one time I had to slam on my brakes because a deer bolted out. You have to remember, the great thing about big data is it counts all of it. It measures all of it. So if you have 1,000 good stops and then one hard break, that is inconsequential. So if you are largely a very good driver, it will prove that to be the case. It will prove that you're a good one. So you don't need to worry about that little aberration here or there. The problem is when it starts becoming habitual, repetitive, and it happens often. So I wouldn't worry so much about that. The deer bolted out. I had to slam on my brakes. That's not going to ding you. It's when you're doing it daily. That's what'll get you.
Run over on I-15 driving the speed limit because of the app on your phone. and everybody else is going 10 and 20 miles over the speed limit on I-15, which happens every day. The reason we're talking about this is because KSL5 Television's Matt Gephardt joined the show just a bit ago to talk about data collection in new cars being sent to insurance companies. Some new car owners didn't even realize it was happening. But then there's this other device, an app or a plug-in in your car that can also track you as well. And some people, obviously, in Utah are already signing up for them.
Now, the companies that were doing this, that were sending the information to insurance companies, they've been sued. There's a class action lawsuit. So it's probably likely that this isn't a practice that's happening to you right now.
Straight ahead, target TikTok. We're going to speak to a retired FBI supervisor who investigated national security cases to ask him, what does the FBI know that they aren't telling Americans about the dangers of TikTok?
And if they said, we want you to put out videos that make Americans fight with each other or spread conspiracy theories and get them at each other's throat, ByteDance can't go to Chinese court and fight the Communist Party. They would have to do it.
That's my understanding.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
You know what's great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the nines, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. One woman was killed and another injured in a house explosion early this morning in American Fork. Battalion Chief Brandon Bouchard says firefighters had reports of a missing victim, but they were only able to get inside the house to search once they'd knocked down the fire.
Unfortunately, this morning we were able to locate a individual who did not survive.
Another woman did survive the explosion in the other unit of the duplex. Firefighters still haven't said what may have caused the explosion. Debris was scattered around the neighborhood and smoke from the fire was visible for miles. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. JetBlue cutting service to Kansas City and 3 other cities in South America, Lima, Bogota, and Quito. The airline says it's also reducing flights to Los Angeles. An executive told employees the route changes will help it deal with the grounding of some of its planes for engine inspections. Your money at this moment, the Dow and the NASDAQ both trading in a narrow range this morning. And our KSL weather, wait till the weekend before we see any rain. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:02.
This Monday Tax Tip is brought to you by Susan Spears, CEO of the Utah Association of CPAs.
Do you have a dependent in college? Do you depend on tuition tax credits to reduce your tax liability? Form 1098-T is a statement sent by schools and copied to the IRS that verifies that you paid what the IRS calls qualified educational expenses in the preceding tax year. If you don't get this official verification, you cannot claim the American Opportunity or Lifetime Learning Tax credits for the tuition, books, supplies, and equipment expense needed for classes. The student will need to contact the educational institution and request the Form 1098-T. Your CPA will be able to assist you as well.
Get the most out of your income tax preparation when you hire a CPA. Go to uacpa.org to find a CPA that's right for you. That's uacpa.org. Listen to KSL on Monday for more tax tips from the Utah Association of CPAs.
At JCW's, we think tipping might be getting a little out of hand. Like when you're asked to tip at the register before you've even been served, or when you're at the yogurt shop and find yourself serving yourself. And don't even get us started on frosted tips making a comeback. That's why at JCW's, when you pay for a 3rd-pound ranch bacon cheeseburger, that's what you pay. And no one at the register is going to stare longingly at you while you awkwardly maneuver through the tip screen for food you don't even have yet. Honestly, we're just happy to see you at any of our 5 locations in Provo, South Jordan, Lehigh, Harriman, and American Fork. So come on in and enjoy some quality time and great food with family and friends. And we promise, we won't be pushing you for a tip.
Hey, this is Chris with JCW's, and we just want to say thank you, and especially to our loyal customers. We want you to know that at JCW's, your business is all the tip we need. JCW's, quality and a lot of it.
For the right repair and the right paint, the right choice is manufacturer-certified Martins Collision Repair. Hi, I'm Tiago Martins, and few have met the rigorous certification by Kia, Dodge, Infiniti, Chrysler, Jeep, Nissan, Hyundai, and many others. But it's one more reason that Martins is your right choice. Check online at martinscollision.com. On State Street in Orem and in Salem, we work with all insurance companies.
The right repair, the right paint, the right choice. Martin's Collision Repair.
For the right repair and the right paint, the right choice is manufacturer-certified Martins Collision Repair. Hi, I'm Tiago Martins. Many shops have ASC and ICAR certified technicians, but few have certifications by General Motors, Nissan, Chrysler, Hyundai, Jeep, and many others, making Martins your right choice. Online at martinscollision.com, on State Street in Orem and in Salem, we work with all insurance companies.
The right repair, the right paint, the right choice. Martin's Collision Repair.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Heather Kelly.
Well, northbound I-15 is still slightly under the speed limit as you move between Midvale and Murray, but that's the only delay on a major freeway that I see across the Wasatch Front. However, if you're in Utah County on SR 73 coming out of Eagle Mountain, you are still at a crawl. It's taking at least 15 minutes to just go a couple of miles between Valley Drive and Ranches Parkway, and not sure why, but I think it's construction. UDOT construction alert. Plan for delays on westbound I-215 this weekend as the road between 280 East and 115 will be closed for bridge maintenance. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our KSL weather, sunny today, then clouds build up tomorrow and Friday. Our temperatures stay in the 60s. Rain is likely Saturday and Sunday. 52 degrees and sunny right now. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Look, I just feel like it's been a slow trickle of information and often a void of information coming from the FBI regarding their concerns about TikTok. Dave and I going in depth this week on TikTok after the House voted overwhelmingly to force the sale of TikTok, which is partially controlled by China, to an American company. Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, a year ago said, "This is a tool that is ultimately within the control of the Chinese government. And to me, it screams out with national security concerns." Dave?
Okay, so what specifically? Like, walk me through this. Hold my hand. If you're going to disrupt my life to the point, like, this is an app I use every single day, and there's 170 million Americans that have downloaded this app. You're going to have to handhold me a little bit. You can't just be cryptic in your descriptions and say, oh, yeah, this is a national security. How? Walk me through it.
You're using it for fun.
Yes.
Businesses are using it to market their products,
to feed their families.
Influencers are using it as well for that very same reason. This could cost a lot of Americans a lot of money. More recently, U.S. Senator Marco Rubio was questioning FBI Director Christopher Wray. And here's the part of that exchange that caught my attention. I'm like, okay, now we're getting a little bit more information.
Isn't it true that under Chinese law, the Chinese Communist Party says that data that you're gaining access to in order to make your algorithm work, we want a copy of that data? If they said that to ByteDance in the future, ByteDance would have to give it to them.
That's my understanding.
And if they went to them and said, we want you to change your algorithm so that Americans start seeing videos that hurt this candidate or help that candidate in the upcoming election, ByteDance would have to do that under Chinese law.
That's my understanding.
And if they said, we want you to put out videos that make Americans fight with each other or spread conspiracy theories and get them at each other's throat, ByteDance can't go to Chinese court and fight the Communist Party. They would have to do it.
That's my understanding, and I would just add that kind of influence operation, or the different kinds of influence operations you're describing, are extraordinarily difficult to detect, which is part of what makes the national security concerns represented by TikTok so significant.
And Debbie, this isn't just a Republican talking point. This is coming from both sides. Here's Democratic Representative Darren Soto.
TikTok needs to be an American company with American values and its ties to the Chinese Communist Party. This is something that'll be critical as we look and go forward.
And the House overwhelmingly passed this bill.
I want to bring in Carl Schmay. He's a retired FBI supervisor here in the Salt Lake City division, worked counterintelligence cases and national security-related cases. Good morning, Carl.
Hey, good morning, guys.
What else do you think the FBI knows that they're not sharing with the American people?
So this is great that you guys are talking about this, by the way, because, Dave, I know a lot of people feel like you. What's the big deal, right? I watch cat videos all day or people dancing. I don't care if the Chinese know about that. That's how a lot of people feel, right? I don't use it, but I do have family members that do. And why does the government seem to be reacting to this? And I think there's a great point that you brought up, that this has bipartisan support. When is the last time we've seen Congress come together to work on an issue? Right? It seems like there's a lot of other significant issues, but this has been identified as a national security issue. And the two main ones that the FBI is concerned about, along with the rest of the intelligence community, is one is a privacy one. That's the one that's come up. And then the second one is a foreign influence. And I could dive into those a little bit more, but those are the major issues. And really what this boils down to is that this is the latest attempt by China to infiltrate and undermine American society. When I was in the FBI, we saw this through their hacking campaigns, which they've been doing continuously, and you guys have discussed that. They were also selling, there's a Chinese company called Huawei that was selling telecom equipment to cell phone providers here in the U.S. We ended up banning that because we realized that was going to give them basically control over our cell networks. American consumers didn't really feel that, but they do feel this because they are TikTok users.
So, Carl, I've also heard it said that there's concern that if we give them access to our information and our phones through the app, that somehow they could take control of our phones. Do you think that that's on the minds of the FBI behind the scenes?
Yeah, I think so. Look, when I worked in the FBI, I worked in the SCIF, right? Special secure building. We were not allowed to bring our phones into that office space. It was very tightly controlled access. The reason we couldn't bring phones in there is because there are adversaries that have means of remotely accessing phones. So they can turn on your cameras, they can turn on your microphones, which, by the way, you have to give TikTok access to that so you can feel yourself doing these silly videos. So I think that's part of the concern. I think there's also concern that it can track your location and also give access to other things in your phone. So those are the main privacy concerns.
So the federal government bans TikTok. State government here in Utah bans TikTok on state-owned phones. And the federal government does it on federally owned phones. I'm going to guess, and I haven't worked at the FBI for 10 years. You were there a lot longer than I was. I'm going to guess that part of the reason that is banned is because there's concerns about tracking people who are, American citizens.
Yeah.
And maybe law enforcement or military officials or something like that, being able to track where they are.
Right. People that are in sensitive positions, absolutely right. So if an FBI agent was out meeting with, say, a human source, maybe that gives them the ability to be tracked. The other thing is that, once again, this is part of a broader effort. Remember years ago, China was able to hack a government database that was part of the Office of Personnel Management. So they have access to my data from all my security clearance stuff, your stuff,
yes,
for millions of Americans. So they can take that data and say, which Americans have these sensitive positions, and then they could cross that with, look, who's using TikTok, and then use that to identify them and start to drill down on them. So that, that's where you start getting into these privacy concerns of how this could be done. And, as you played in your clip, in China, there's different rules. What the government says goes. So the Chinese government The communist government there controls with an iron fist. It's all about control. Whereas here in the U.S., you have U.S. companies that can say no. You know, a few years ago, there was a terrorist attack down in San Bernardino, and a couple of terrorists attacked their Christmas party, showed up and killed a bunch of people. The FBI recovered their Apple iPhones. We went to Apple and said, hey, can you help us get in? Apple said, nope. You know, in China, you don't have that option. The FBI found another means to get into those iPhones. But it's just a different set of rules in China. And I think it should be pointed out, Deb, that, and this hasn't been discussed, years ago, China banned U.S. tech companies from operating in China. Google banned Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp. You can't use those in China. And the reason for that is China does not want to allow U.S. companies to operate there because they can't control them. China wants to control information. And then that's what leads into the foreign influence concerns here in the U.S.
And, Carl, thank you so much for joining us. That's in part what scares me, is that we're mirroring some of those same regimes. Iran, China, North Korea, they've banned Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. They've banned those because they're afraid of foreign influence, of American democratic propaganda seeping in.
I really appreciate Carl coming on the line. Carl Schmay, retired FBI supervisor out of the Salt Lake City division. I worked with him for a number of years. He worked national intelligence cases and many, many other cases, national security cases, I should say, counterintelligence cases. Appreciate your insight. Feel like I got more from Carl than I've been able to get from listening to hearings on Capitol Hill. That was absolutely fascinating insight. And straight ahead, this legislation now goes to the U.S. Senate. Okay, House passed it last week, overwhelmingly. Now heads to the U.S. Senate. And I was shocked to hear one senator come out swinging on national news in favor of TikTok.
There also is the problem of the First Amendment. 180 million Americans use this social media platform to express themselves. And if the company is banned, or you say it can't have the current ownership and the company goes away, you're basically taking their First Amendment rights away with them also.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Here's a trick to podcasting at work and getting all the Utah news you love.
Download the KSL News Radio app.
The podcast for Utah's morning news and Dave and Debbie are right there. Dozens of podcasts a day.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
I really wish I had known about Master Electrical several years ago. I had no lighting in my family room. So I was climbing up into the attic, nearly fell through the roof. It was a disaster as I'm trying to put in those canned lights, you know, the recessed lighting. It was a mess. I got it done. I think I learned my lesson.
You got to leave the work to the professionals at Master Electrical, Dave. They've got upfront pricing, and I think you'll love their upfront pricing guarantee. In fact, I know you will. They're going to come to your house. They're going to give you a bid. They're going to look at your project, and then they're going to give you that information. They're going to tell you what the price is, and that's the price that you're going to pay when the job is done.
And don't worry about the upcharge. Their pricing system simply won't allow it.
They do everything from lights to ceiling fans, smoke detectors, and generators, too.
Yeah, upfront pricing guarantee. That's what they give you. Give them a call, 801-543-2222. That's 801-543-2222.
Or you can check them out online at masterelectrical.com.
Think about all the ways you use your phone. But are you getting KSL's breaking news updates?
Filling up at the gas pump is getting more painful.
Another officer-involved shooting happened in Payson.
Utah Highway Patrol says they made 64 DUI arrests.
An update on that 12-year-old busted for driving a car on I-15.
Get alerts, links to important story articles, and updates on severe weather and traffic. Text the word news to 57500. That's the word news to 57500. And stay connected to KSL News Radio.
A fiduciary has the regulatory obligation to put your best interest first. Trajan Wealth is a financial fiduciary for your investments. With Trajan Wealth, the more you make, the more we make. Our interests are aligned. Most other financial advisors are brokers held to a lesser standard and are paid an upfront commission to sell you something. Call Trajan Wealth 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
When the weather warms up, it's like a stampede.
Except instead of dust stirred up by hundreds of hooves, it's a cascade of phone calls to Advanced Window Products. This is Jeff Kaplan. Soon as the sun shines and the snow's gone, people want new windows and frames from Utah's #1 custom window maker, and the wait for installation grows longer. But right now, you can get near the front of the line by calling for a quote and get $2,500 off when you purchase 10 windows or more. That's on top of the incredible savings for the highest quality double-pane windows and frames, any style, any color. See, at Advanced Window Products, they actually build the windows here in Utah, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. There's no middleman, and they can pass the savings on to you. They even offer buy now, pay later. So get in before the wait grows longer and get the $2,500 off. Get your new windows this spring. Make the call. Advanced Window Products, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or visit AdvancedWindowsUSA.com.
Step into a world of home transformation with The Blind Man, your ultimate partner in creating your dream home. Whether on a new home journey or refreshing your space, The Blind Man has you covered. Literally. Envision the latest styles, cutting-edge technology, and elegance in shades, shutters, or blinds. Now, if you hesitated to turn your dreams into reality, the moment has arrived. The Blind Man's Buy 4, Get 1 Free extravaganza on all exclusive Blind Man brand window coverings is here. Not just a sale, but a dream opportunity. Picture your home bathed in natural light or shaded for moments of privacy. The Blind Man understands your needs. They want all homes to be masterpieces. Unlock your dream home with the Blind Man's Buy 4, Get 1 Free deal. It's not just a window of opportunity. It's a gateway to artistic bliss. Don't miss out. Visit theblindman.com for a free in-home consultation. Yeah, free. Let the Blind Man transform your vision. Theblindman.com, where dreams meet reality.
From Ogden to St. George, Utah's premier window covering provider, The Blind Man.
I use the KSL app every single day, folks. I think you should too. It makes things so easy. If you want to listen to us live, if the Dave and Dujanovic show, you want to carry it around in your pocket, that's the way to do it.
It's totally free. You can download it now. Remember, it's the KSL News Radio app. Again, it's free. Stay up to date. You can get push notifications to your phone. You just click on those notifications. It takes you to the latest news and breaking developments on stories. So download it now.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, one woman died and others survived an explosion and fire at a duplex in American Fork this morning. Second, the Cache County clerk has resigned after an investigation found problems with elections there. And third, JetBlue is cutting service to several destinations to deal with the grounding of some of its planes for safety inspections. Right now, 52 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
So if you're keeping score on Target TikTok, the House has overwhelmingly approved, back in Washington, D.C., what would essentially amount to a ban if an American company doesn't step up and buy TikTok. However, it's less clear that this legislation has a path to victory in the Senate. And there's one senator in particular, I was shocked by what he said. He came out swinging in favor of allowing Americans to use TikTok.
And I think it's an important conversation to have because there's so much excitement and momentum behind the TikTok ban. I get it. We're just trying to sell it to an American company. We're calling it a ban because China, number one, they're not going to sell. I mean, we've seen a lot of reporting on that. China has flat out said we have no interest in selling to an American company. Yeah, I think it's important to look at the other side of things because there's a lot of momentum right now in the government to ban it.
Senator Rand Paul recently went on Fox, as he always does, but he was talking specifically about TikTok. And this came after the House had overwhelmingly passed that piece of legislation. Now, that legislation heads to the Senate, Dave. And I think there's an important component here that we haven't talked a lot about, is that the Senate does not appear to be in any hurry whatsoever to take it up. So we don't know if it'll stall out in the Senate. We don't know if they'll make changes to it and push it back. But Senator Rand Paul came out swinging on Fox News, and he pointed out several things about TikTok. And I think they're worth considering. The first one is it allows Americans a First Amendment opportunity to express themselves and exchange information.
There also is the problem of the First Amendment. 180 million Americans use this social media platform to express themselves, and if the company is banned or you say it can't have the current ownership and the company goes away, you're basically taking their First Amendment rights away with them also.
And we can't minimize that. We cannot minimize the First Amendment and people's right to say what they want, even if you disagree with it. And for this to come across our feed, and this is what I keep hearing is, oh, the Chinese are going to be able to send propaganda to you directly and be able to undercut elections or influence you some way. Yeah, that's how it works. Stuff comes across, and I am responsible to vet it. Whether I believe it or not, that falls on me. Let's trust Americans that if something crazy comes across that undermines our democracy, that we'll be able to dismiss it.
He wasn't even convinced that China has that much input. Here's what he said on Fox.
The CEO would not assure that Beijing would not have access to personal information for 170 million Americans.
I don't think that's true. I don't think
which
that's
is
true.
number one with young people. It is true. The
But
number
even
one
if
with
it
young
were
people
true, even if it
is
were true,
now.
Brian, it's an allegation. You are making allegations against a company owned by Americans, and you have to prove it in court.
Who
You
owns
can't
that
just
company?
make-
Who owns that company?
60
ByteDance.
60
ByteDance is owned by China.
60. No, it's not. See, that's a lie. You're defaming the country. You're defaming the company. 60% of it is owned by international investors.
So how much influence does China really have? And if it is owned by 60% of outside investors and China only controls 40%, this is where I think everyone has failed, and especially when you look at the House of Representatives. Debbie, when we say it passed overwhelmingly, it was overwhelming. Remember, there's 435 members. 352 voted.
81%.
81%.
Yeah.
That's an enormous number. But again, what I haven't seen is the actual tangible proof that this American has been affected by TikTok.
Well, we just spoke with Carl Schmay, a retired FBI supervisor here in the Salt Lake City division, who worked counterintelligence cases. He worked national security cases. And he said there's definitely some concerns. There's some concerns. And he pointed out things, Dave, that I was surprised to hear and also concerned about. For example, there was a major hack back the federal database that carries a lot of information regarding employees' information. And China was able to get a lot of information on us, on our federal employees. And let's say a former federal employee, me, has downloaded TikTok. I have TikTok. Mm-hmm. So is China able to then, get that information, pair it with my TikTok account? They figured out I'm long since gone at the FBI, and all I'm doing is talking on the radio all day. Like, well, maybe they're not interested in me, but if they are interested in an FBI agent and where they're meeting with a source, could they track them? Well, the federal government has banned TikTok on cell phones, at least federally controlled cell phones, and like our state government,
Yeah, our state has
done that as well. So he brought up some points that I really hadn't heard talked about out loud before. When you talk about, or when you listen to hearings back in Washington, D.C., Christopher Wray, he's the director of the FBI, has met with the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee. And here's a question that he got from Marco Rubio.
And if they said, we want you to put out videos that make Americans fight with each other or spread conspiracy theories and get them at each other's throat, ByteDance can't go to Chinese court and fight the Communist Party. They would have to do it.
That's my understanding.
So it makes it sound like they just would turn over information, or at least do what they wanted to do with whatever the algorithm wanted. They wanted to do with the algorithm, so they could put out propaganda.
Yeah.
On our apps.
They absolutely could. I'm not arguing. I absolutely believe they could do that. But that's the exact same argument that Iran, China, and North Korea have used to ban Twitter and Facebook and Instagram in their countries.
So you're saying in reverse, they're doing it they're doing the same thing, but in other countries.
Exactly. They're making the exact same arguments, and they're banning the exact same social media companies for the same reasons that we are making right now. Doesn't anyone worry about that we are literally following in the steps of North Korea, China, and Iran?
I just think we're just in this pickle. Honestly, I feel like now that we've talked more about what the FBI is thinking and maybe what they're saying behind the scenes, and then we also talk about the First Amendment concerns. I mean, I just feel caught in the middle right now.
Yeah, that's the First Amendment concerns. It is the millions, tens of millions of Americans that are making money off of this app. So if you do get rid of that app, it would be the largest mass layoff in American history. 10 million jobs all at once. Boom, gone if you were to ban TikTok today. That should stop our hearts, because in any other industry, if Congress did this anywhere else, where they just shut down 10,000 jobs, part-time jobs, full-time jobs, we would have a heart attack. But because we use the scary word China, and the Chinese government are a bunch of bad guys, we're fine with it.
Still has to be voted on by the Senate. We also know that a Montana judge put an end to Montana's ban on TikTok. And in fact, those who want to keep TikTok alive and well in the United States are using that to say, look, it's already, the ban in Montana didn't work. How do you expect it to work at the federal level? We're going to continue to follow this story with our coverage of Target TikTok on Friday when we're back on the show, because we're going to have the day off the show tomorrow because, of course, BYU is playing, and you will hear the game here live on KSL News Radio and all of our pregame coverage starting at 9 o'clock. But on Friday, we're going to talk to some influencers on TikTok who are making big bucks on the app and see how they feel about a possible ban.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top local story this hour. Firefighters in American Fork just now getting started on their investigation of an explosion and fire that killed one woman and injured another early this morning. KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live on the scene. Adam?
Well, Dan, we know that this huge explosion, which we now see potentially has a radius either of debris or potentially even some damage up to a half mile. This was a massive explosion that completely destroyed a duplex just before 6 a.m. We do know one adult woman was killed that was inside this duplex when this happened hours ago. And remarkably, another woman inside when this explosion happened somehow survived, didn't even need to go to the hospital. We also know that a dog inside survived as well. Something that we are learning at this time as well is that some neighboring buildings were damaged. I believe 2 or 3 buildings have damage. One duplex right nearby this one that exploded is actually currently uninhabitable. So we have another couple people displaced because of just the huge boom and blast that came from this explosion. We also have debris scattered in the nearby neighborhood that people are now trying to clean up and sort through. Crews are expected to be here for hours, probably for the rest of the day. They're continuing to investigate. Again, we don't know what caused this explosion. That's what they're here now trying to figure out. Live in American Fork, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Armed gangs in Haiti trying to stop the appointment of a transitional council that intends to reconstitute the government. ABC's Matt Rivers says who's on the council may not matter.
If or when, frankly, they are able to install this council, the gangs here have already said that they won't respect the authority of that council.
And that means the violence that has thrown Haiti into turmoil will probably continue. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average and the NASDAQ, both down, but not by much so far. And our KSL weather looks like sunshine today, but then the clouds start moving in. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:33.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
If you have a family member, and you're not alone, folks, Millions of Americans deal with this. If you have a loved one that is struggling with addiction, whether they're currently in recovery or they just need some help, let me tell you about Renaissance Ranch, because they do something, Debbie, that I love, is they focus on the entire family.
What I really love is that they offer these free online classes. So if you have a family member struggling from addiction, I want you to remember this. Do not lose yourself. And that's where Renaissance Ranch comes in to help. These free online classes are available all week long. You can sign up for as many as you want to, and they're free.
All you have to do is go to renaissanceranch.com, and you can learn more about these free online classes. The classes are taught from a spousal perspective, for the parents, from personal. They have a women's support group, even a couples recovery group. All you have to do is go to renaissanceranch.com to learn more about these. There's 10 classes. More than 1,000 people have visited that last month, so it's very popular. Go to renaissanceranch.com.
Looking for a secure retirement plan without market risk? Look no further. Lyle Boss, president of Boss Financial, specializes in no market risk retirement strategies with guarantees of principal, guaranteed growth, and lifelong income. Join Lyle right here each Saturday and Sunday for his Safe Money radio show, and call him now at 855-355-SAFE for your complimentary customized Safe Money information kit and Safe Money book. Nothing but upside here at 855-355-SAFE.
This Friday from 10 to 1, the movie show comes to Sound Sleep Medical. But first, take the time to learn about a better night's rest. Sound Sleep Medical delivers oral appliance therapy that treats sleep apnea without the use of CPAP machines. They're professionally fit, warranted, and covered by most major medical insurance. End the days of a poor night's sleep. Sound Sleep Medical will help. Call Sound Sleep Medical at 801-716-8672 for details. Sound Sleep Medical.
Ulta Beauty's semi-annual beauty event is happening now. Unleash your love for beauty with 50% off daily beauty steals on hair, skin, makeup, and fragrance. Shop your favorite brands like Tarte and Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. Plus, grab perfect hair care pairs from brands like Redken and Olaplex. And check out new arrivals from brands like Charlotte Tilbury and Dyson. Shop the Ulta Beauty semi-annual beauty event online, in-store, or try pickup today. Now through March 28th. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful. Conditions apply.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-952-1155. That's 800-952-1155.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, the delays are finally gone out of Eagle Mountain on Corey Wright Highway. That's SR 73. They were delayed for several hours, taking at least 20 minutes just to go a couple of miles heading east toward I-15. Once you're on I-15, we're delay-free throughout Utah, Salt Lake, Davis, and Weber counties in both directions, and no problems on the east or west side belt routes. Beatty, Nevada, your adventure home base for any season. Gateway to Death Valley National Park, canyon, and desert trails. Perfect for off-road hiking and biking, ghost towns, mines, and more. BeattyNevada.org. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our KSL weather, sunny today. Clouds build up, though, tomorrow and Friday. Temperatures stay in the 60s. And right now, we're at 54 degrees and sunny. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories. On KSL News Radio, Priced Out, Housing, Special Coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
A lot of data is pointing toward home prices in Utah just continuing to go up and up and up throughout 2024. So finding an affordable house might feel impossible. And that's why we want to explore with the Stern team right now. Is buying a fixer-upper worth it? Or will you be just jumping into the money pit?
I don't think that can hurt us anymore.
Remember that movie?
The
money
bathtub
pit.
goes through the floor. The greatest laugh ever. Tom Hanks. It's Woody.
Oh, I felt that way many times trying to fix a fixer-upper. There's got to be a secret to the madness, right?
Yeah, there's two levels to this fixer-upper. It's either fixer-upper for yourself, little sweat equity, and there's the fixer-upper to flip it, where you want to make a profit. But either way, how do you find the fixer-upper? And is it really worth it? How much of a discount do I need? Russell Fawcett joins us right now from the Stern team. And Russell, question number one, how do I even start dipping my toes and figure out whether a fixer-upper is worth it?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. First, I would ask yourself, are you going to have to hire out all of the work done, or are you handy and can you do some of the work yourself? Because depending on your level of, how comfortable you are with, changing out a toilet or doing some of the smaller repairs, and you have a budget. So yes, maybe your mortgage payment is going to be less because you can get into this fixer-upper. You're going to have a bigger cash outlay, especially if you're going to hire people to do it. So do you have the cash to be able to do some of these? And then understand if you're going to do it piece by piece, it's probably going to take longer than you expect. And are you prepared for that?
I'm going to share more of my fixer-upper story when we take live phone calls from our listeners who've had fixer-upper nightmares. But I'll just give you a taste of it, Russell. Russell Fawcett, by the way, with the Stern team, joining us live throughout the year to talk about the housing market. Now we're talking about fixer-uppers. Mine took 11 years. It was 11 years, and then guess what we did? We sold the house. We finished the last project. We were probably 10 and a half years into it, but that's how long some of these projects can take when they need a new roof, when there's a disaster looming in the basement. And we were young and probably a little naive and ambitious. And I think what people might not realize is that you also, if you're fixing up one room, you got to move out of that room. And so when we remodeled the kitchen, we were doing dishes in the bathtub. And when we remodeled our master bedroom, I was sleeping because my husband was out of town for months, training. Thank goodness. 3 months I slept in the living room.
Yeah, and we had a flip that, we didn't even live in the home, but just, working, it was a major remodel, but working through permits and the surprises that come with flipping an older home, it took us 10 months, and we didn't even live in the home.
Well, at least it wasn't 11 years.
Yes.
Well, like you say, there's always something you can improve, even in, fairly nice homes. What should I do as far as pricing? Like, how should I kind of get prepared? What kind of a discount should I be looking for?
Well, it definitely depends on your intent. So it's a lot different if you're looking to flip a home, because then you're going to have to buy at a steep discount to be able to, afford the repairs. Probably, if you're using private money, hard money, maybe you have the cash. You're going to be looking for buying that anywhere from, 50% to 70% of what's called your after repaired value. However, I've had people as well, and I've even had clients where it was just like, no, we can get this. The repairs might cost us, $50,000, and we're getting that, $70,000 discount, but it moves us into a different price point. And so it's all. This kind of sounds bad, but there's no perfect formula. It comes down to your budget, and can we accomplish getting you into the home, that you can afford to be in and do the repairs. The other thing I've done with one of our clients is we actually bought the home and fixed it up and then sold it to him, and he worked with us to provide sweat equity. So you can also get creative if you have the right partners as well.
I want to ask you before we let you go, Russell, what is your deal breaker when you walk up on a home, or for your client, when you walk up on a home, you know it's a fixer-upper? What's your absolute no, run the other way?
A true foundation issue for me would be a deal breaker. I'm pretty comfortable with everything else, but the things that we look for, your most expensive things, your foundation, number one, going into it. Number two, I would look at the roof. Are you going to have to replace that roof right away? Number three would probably be water damage, because that could lead to, are you dealing with mold issues? Are we going to have to rip out walls and things like that? So water typically can scare, that scares me a little bit, just because you never know the depth of what that problem might be.
Right.
And the last thing I would look at is electrical. So if you walk in and it's knob and tube, your panels from 1950, just know that you're going to rewire the entire house. So those would be kind of my top ones that when I'm looking at a home that I'm looking at to know. One last one. The main line, get a sewer scope. That one got us one time. We didn't scope the sewer, and we ended up replacing that main line from the house to the street. And that's a big expense as well.
Yeah, and I've scoped the sewer. It's $100, $125. They put a camera down the sewer line, and that is money well spent, because my neighbor had a sewer line problem up the street, and that was, I think, a $30,000 to $40,000 repair.
Yeah.
Right? And we do have tree roots growing into sewer lines now, because we have older homes in communities, and that becomes a really big issue. Russell, you're amazing. Russell Fawcett with the Stern team. Thank you.
Yeah, you can learn your home's true value in 30 seconds. All you have to do is visit sternteam.com to find out more.
So what is your biggest fixer-upper nightmare? Is it...
I don't think that can hurt us anymore.
The bathtub? Falling through the ceiling? I don't think you can top my fixer-upper nightmares, but you could certainly try. 801-575-TALK, 801-575-TALK. What was your money pit when you moved into your house and started to fix it up? 801-575-TALK.
Dave and Dujanovic. A lot of us are filling our workdays with podcasts.
When you're working, go to KSLNewsRadio.com.
Click on Dave and Debbie's podcast and pick a topic and story length.
Podcast with Dave and Debbie. Then get to work with KSL News Radio.
So I think when we're trying to lose weight, we want to see big results. And that is exactly what I've seen with Salt Lake City Fat Loss. I've been working with them for almost 2 months now, and I have felt so good. But because I've seen big results, I've been able to stay motivated. In 7 weeks, I've lost 47 pounds. It's incredible. Now, many clients will lose 20, 30 pounds in a month or two. That may be just fine for you, but I've seen even better results. Like I said, 47 pounds in 7 weeks. I'm so excited about it. And with Salt Lake City Fat Loss, they've done it without surgery, without injections, no point counting, exercising, or prepackaged meals. This unique program to lose weight is very easy to follow. They handhold you through the entire process. I can text them at any moment. They get right back to me with any questions I have. So if you're interested in losing some weight, Salt Lake City Fat Loss has a great program. I've loved it. slcfatloss.com is the website. You can schedule a free consultation. Again, that's at slcfatloss.com.
The Utah RV Palooza is back and packed with new and used RVs to fit every budget. March 21st through the 24th, come to the only free RV show in the area at the Mountain America Expo Center. Shop travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, motorhomes, truck campers, and more. You'll find monthly payments starting under $149 per month on approved credit for select new RVs, like a new 2024 Go Play 19BH travel trailer. You'll also find huge savings on used motorhomes. We've got select 2023 and 2024 low mileage models from Thor and Jayco heavily discounted. The best deals don't last, so start shopping now at UtahRVPalooza.com and make sure to tour the full lineup of Go Play travel trailers, one of the fastest growing RV brands in Utah. Get special financing options like 0 payments until June OAC, as well as clearance pricing on all remaining new 2023s. And unlike other shows, free admission. Don't miss the Utah RV Palooza. 4 days only, Thursday, March 21st through Sunday, March 24th at the Mountain America Expo Center. See you there. Stock number L75171, based on 20% down, 8.99% APR for 180 months, subject to prior sale. See dealer for details.
Believe it or not, most small businesses don't have a 401k. If you don't have a 401k, you are missing out on the greatest wealth creation tool ever created. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and many 401ks are overpriced for the employer, have expensive and underperforming investment options, and have tedious administrative provisions. Not at Trajan Wealth. We can set up a 401k for a company for only $8 per employee, a $65 per plan fee, plus a small advisory fee. That's right, not thousands or even the tens of thousands you've been quoted, and do it all in less time than it takes to sit in traffic. If you have 5 or more employees, these 401ks will help you attract and retain top talent. And if you're an employee and don't have a 401k, tell your boss. Call Trajan Wealth today. Call 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Services offered through a third-party partner.
With interest rates coming back down, I bet the real estate market will pick back up in 2024. We're already seeing that, Tim.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter how the market is doing when you have the right team. So if you're looking to sell your house, now you want to downsize or you need more space, you need the Stern team.
The Stern team has taught us, I can think of a handful of things that I would worry about if I was buying or selling, but there are 100 details that are involved in selling a home, and they have lots of people that are handling every detail so nothing falls through the cracks.
And they have so many different options. I mean, I worked with Cammie there at the Stern team, and she was awesome. But if you need an instant cash offer, you can do that. If you need to buy before you sell, you can do that. They have flexible fees.
They also have people that they represent that are looking to buy a home, so maybe they can make that perfect connection within the Stern team.
So don't put off selling your house or buying a house because you think the market isn't just right. The market is right with the Stern team.
Go online to sternteam.com or just Google the Stern team.
Hey, when you got a couple seconds this afternoon, make sure you download the KSL News Radio app. I think you're going to love it. Lots of reasons to use it. You can get your daily news. I also listen to Tim and Amanda in the bathroom on the app when I'm getting ready in the morning. Every morning they come with me while I'm putting my makeup on. So KSL News Radio app, download it now.
You can stay up to date with these great push notifications, all the latest breaking news, and stay in the know on all the hot topics. And, of course, you can listen to us every day live on Dave and Dujanovic.
Any Hour Services can help unclog any drain in your house, whether you have a backup, a clog, or a slow drain you want fixed. Call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, one woman died, another survived an explosion and fire that destroyed a duplex in American Fork early this morning. Second, police are sorting out a chase involving 2 people in a motorhome yesterday in Taylorsville. And third, Haiti trying to put a new government together, but the armed gangs that have all but taken over that country say they won't respect its authority. Right now, 54 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
What's your worst home fixer-upper nightmare? Because housing prices are expected to go up and up and up this year. Of course, it's well over $500,000 now as a median home price in Utah and many parts of Utah. We decided to ask Russell Fawcett of the Stern team, who we've partnered with for the rest of the year, to talk about housing and the expenses that go along with it, about fixer-uppers. Love to hear from you. Your worst fixer-upper nightmare. Bring the home runs. I want to hear the hits. 801-575-TALK.
See, I had a much different experience on my fixer-upper. I purchased a home that was probably, 20 years old. It didn't need a lot of work, but you said yours took 11 years.
11 years.
Mine took 2.5 months. I removed a wall, redid all the flooring. My wife and I were complete novices as well. So with YouTube videos and some family help, we were able to do it, and it completely transformed our home. So when you talk about the nightmares, I feel bad for you. I know they're out there, but my experience was great.
You took the recommendation of Realtor.com. They talked about 5 things to look for when you're buying a fixer-upper, and one of the top things is cosmetic changes, which are not major changes.
Right.
Usually that
I'm
doesn't
not
mean
replumbing the house.
You're not replumbing the house. You're not trying to put in a bathroom where a bathroom doesn't exist because you happen to need a bathroom on that level. Yeah. You probably don't even need to re-roof it right away because the roof is in pretty good shape. We weren't so lucky. Although I wouldn't have changed the experiences for the world, there were moments of marriage encounters that became a little bit tricky sometimes, especially when the wife is holding up the drop ceiling in the basement and the husband is laughing because the thing keeps falling down across the room. I want to get into what Russell Fawcett of the Stern team said about his absolute deal breakers when it comes to purchasing a fixer-upper. So either he is doing it or maybe he's got a client who wants to buy a fixer-upper. They can be a little less expensive, sometimes a lot less expensive to get into, but then you got to put the cash into them. So I asked him, what are your absolute no-nos where you look at the house, there's a huge problem, and you run?
A true foundation issue for me would be a deal breaker. I'm pretty comfortable with everything else, but the things that we look for, your most expensive things, your foundation, number one, going into it. Number two, I would look at the roof. Are you going to have to replace that roof right away? Number three would probably be water damage, because that could lead to, are you dealing with mold issues? Are we going to have to rip out walls and things like that? So water typically can scare, that scares me a little bit, just because you never know the depth of what that problem might be.
Right.
And the last thing I would look at is electrical. So if you walk in and it's knob and tube, your panels from 1950, just know that you're going to rewire the entire house.
And he added another one at the very end. He said, check the sewer main line, because that can be extremely expensive. You said, hey, it costs you $100 to have a camera go down, double check, make sure there's no cracks or roots that they're growing into that. That is crucial.
Well, you should have that done every year anyway, as general maintenance. And if you don't have it done every year, just jump on it. It's like every spring you call up the rooter company. They come out, they put a camera down the sewer line, and if there are roots growing in it, they rooter them out. So you don't have a brewing problem there where then the sewer line cracks and then you've got a really expensive repair. And a lot of people don't realize this, but from the home to the street, that's your job.
Yes. And that's
on you. That's not
so important.
Calling the city. That's on you to deal with it.
Now, my city actually offers some insurance programs to cover that kind of stuff. So you may want to look in. You've got to opt in and make sure that you're covered by insurance, because normal homeowners insurance does not cover that.
Oh, we put this question on Facebook. What's your fixer-upper nightmare? Trisha said, yeah, the house wasn't extremely old, built in the 90s, but it was a filthy mess as well as in disrepair, and every countertop was pink, so they needed new insulation, new windows, new roof, new siding, new paint, new carpet, new tile, new vanities, new appliances, and major cleaning. Oh, my goodness, and I'm in the See More icon there on Facebook. Yeah, she said it just was really expensive. And now it's very comfortable and updated.
There were a couple of things as we were speaking to Russell that he pointed out. He said, number one, you've got to make sure that when you're purchasing this home, if it needs $50,000, and you're going to have to really figure out whether you estimate it properly or you have a professional come in and estimate it, you have to know how much money you're going to have to put into that fixer-upper. Get at least, that plus some in the discount. So if it's a $300,000 house and it needs $30,000 or $50,000 worth of work done, you've got to get it for at least $250,000 or $225,000. Otherwise, walk away.
Trisha on Facebook said hers cost $150,000.
The repair
the
did?
Fixer-upper.
Yeah.
Was $150,000.
Now, if you got it for a $150,000 discount or a $200,000 discount, then that makes a lot of sense.
If you're going to live there for a long time, too.
Yeah.
It builds equity. The house is comfortable.
That's a great point, Deb. My neighbor actually just moved. And the new guys that moved in, they probably put in well over $100,000 to fix it up. It's a brand new home. They should never leave because that home looks phenomenal.
Now, we didn't know when we bought our fixer-upper in the 90s that we were stepping into the money pit.
I don't think that can hurt us anymore.
Oh, it can always hurt more.
Now, we did not have a bathtub fall through the ceiling, but we certainly had one leak. We also had a back door, a sliding glass door that didn't close all the way. And it was springtime, so no big deal, right? That's awesome. I mean, you just let the nice, warm spring air in until I came home from work and I found birds flying around in my home. So that became an issue. We had to get a new back door. We had to get a new roof. I already gave away the spoiler alert that the drop ceiling of the basement had fallen down. It had completely collapsed. When we walked into the basement before we bought the home, we realized, oh, look at the drop ceiling is on the floor, and there are vines from the outside growing all around the basement. So we had to do yanking of the vines out of the basement. We had to deal with the drop ceiling. We decided to put a new toilet in the basement so we could at least have a bathroom down there, or sort of a bathroom. And then we were installing the toilet, and it snapped in half. And so I had to run to Home Depot as they were closing, and I begged them to open up because we were having guests come for our wedding, and we needed the toilet. And it was one thing right after the other. New windows. Did I already say new roof? And then, one day, one winter, I was looking out the back window and I thought, look at our yard. It's huge. And as I looked across the snow, I realized, oh, no. Our entire fence had collapsed and fallen into the neighbor's yard. Love those fixer-uppers. It brought us closer together.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. One woman is dead, another injured following a house explosion in American Fork early this morning. Fire officials say they still don't know what caused the explosion, but it did cause damage to neighboring homes near 330 East Main Street. The duplex where the explosion happened is completely destroyed, and we'll bring you updates as we learn them here on KSL News Radio. Police have revealed what started yesterday's motorhome police chase down Bangor Highway. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston has details.
Unified Police Sergeant Amy Race says officers were responding to calls about a suspicious motorhome in an apartment complex near West Valley City before 39-year-old James Harper sped away. Race says Harper has a history with previous weapons charges. The passenger found in this RV is not in police custody and was said not to be involved with the pursuit.
And 3 other cars are involved in crashes during the pursuit. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The law that would allow Texas authorities to arrest and deport people in the country illegally has been put on hold again by a federal appeals court. This law is called SB 4. Critics are saying that only the federal government can enforce immigration laws. The hearing on the case planned for today. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day now, 47 points. The NASDAQ is up 8. And our KSL weather, looks like we've got another fabulous sunny spring day today. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you have a drain that's clogged or backed up, after you've tried the plungers and products, the next step usually involves some kind of drain snake or cabling equipment. You see, sometimes the blockage is far enough down the line that you need special equipment that most homeowners just don't have. That's where the Drains Department at Any Hour Services can help. A drain snake can clear most blockages and get the water flowing again, and clearing blocked drains is what our Drains Department does day in and day out. So if you're a homeowner with a drain line that's clogged or backed up and you'd like one of our drain technicians to come and snake the line for you, it's only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Hey guys, meet Salt Lake City's favorite men's health expert.
Hi, I'm Eric Ramos, healthcare provider at Revive Men's Health
I've been treating men suffering from low T and ED for over 5 years. And before that, I was a combat medic in the Army and a Navy corpsman in the Marine Corps, responsible for my men and their health every day. I understand firsthand the health challenges that impact men. Many of my patients come to me because they've noticed a lack of energy, loss of strength, increased belly fat, and even depression. Low T can impact your whole life, but so can proper treatment of it. And hearing that my patients are back to living life to the fullest, that's the best part of my job.
Guys, if you're looking for affordable, guaranteed low T and ED solutions, contact Revive for a free T-check and exam today, saving you $199. Call 801-263-7777. That's 801-263-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hi, this is Julie from the Visitors Bureau in Logan, and things are looking up. The sun is out, and you should be too. Spring break is just around the corner, so book your stay, pack your bags, and come and play. We're kicking off spring break with the annual Original Baby Animal Days at the American West Heritage Center. You'll be spread out over 160 acres of beautiful scenery while you pet all the baby animals like lambs, goats, piglets, bunnies, and chicks. March 28th through the 30th also features exotic animals. You can see baby bears from Yellowstone Bear World April 3rd through the 6th, which is also when Baby Animal Days combines with the annual Mountain Man Rendezvous. Watch demonstrations like flint and steel fire starting, bullet making, and leatherworking and scrimshaw. Wait, do you even know what that is? It doesn't matter. Come and see at the American West Heritage Center. Logan has so many great things to do. Come for spring break or anytime you need a break. Vacation in Logan. Just get in the car. ExploreLogan.com. ExploreLogan.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Ricky Meese.
Valley Freeway traffic in great shape. We do have a report of possible trouble in traffic. It may be an accident in Draper, 123rd South at 12th East. The UACPA supports certified public accountants in Utah through ongoing professional education and leadership development. Find a CPA that works for you, uacpa.org. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our KSL weather, sunny today, clouds building up tomorrow and Friday, temperatures stay in the 60s, rain likely tomorrow and Sunday. Right now, 57 degrees and sunny. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories. On KSL News Radio, Dave and Dujanovic have inside sources.
The New York Times headline says, the internet is a wasteland, so let's give kids a better place to go. We're going to talk to Boyd about his discussion that he had on his show, Inside Sources.
Holy cow, amen, right? I mean, who disagrees with that? We were just having this conversation about COVID. 4 years ago, it's when they shut it down. And I remember the thing that most negatively impacted my family was my 9-year-old who didn't have friends to play with because we were all locked up, locked down. And he sat on the couch, and I think we single-handedly raised the value of YouTube just by my family.
Yeah.
Because that's what we did. It was easy, it was entertaining, and it was of no value whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's such an interesting shift in all of it. And obviously with all the talk, you guys have been doing great coverage this week on TikTok and how that's all playing out in social media. And this is one of those, there was a fascinating conversation. So Michelle Goldberg from the New York Times wrote the piece that Debbie referenced. And it was so funny, just the way she started. She said, here I am a New York liberal, and I find myself nodding along, agreeing completely with Lindsey Graham from South Carolina on all the problems of the internet and what it's doing to our kids. But the interesting thing that we got to in the conversation was, of course, we've talked about the things like how the algorithms are hurting young girls in self-esteem and body shaming, how young boys are getting addicted to porn and video games and all of those things. She said, but they're also losing their sense of wonder, their sense of awe, and their curiosity. And the curiosity is the one that actually concerns me the most, not just for the kids, but for adults as well.
part of it is that there's just an opportunity cost. You know, time that you spend on screens, time that you're not spending exploring your neighborhood and having adventures and developing independence and learning to manage risk and sort of all the things that childhood play is kind of for in psychological terms. And, you know, the kind of quote unquote risks that you take in a video game just don't seem to do the same thing for development. So part of it is that, you know, social media itself is part of it. It has its own negative effects, but part of those are just kind of what it takes people away from.
Part of what stands out to me as I was thinking about video games, Boyd, because I've got 3 teenage boys. Well, I guess only 2 teenage boys at this point. One's married. Anyway, and I play video games with them as well. But one of the things that I notice is there's the soundtrack. There's the bright lights. It's exciting. It's exhilarating. When I go out into the real world, there's no soundtrack. There's no music playing. There's no aha moment. There's nobody like bells going off.
No American Hero theme playing as you're walking down the street.
You need to carry it with you, Dave.
I learned how to defend the world from zombies. What did you do today?
So it's not reality is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. I love the thing that Michelle pointed out in terms of learning to manage risk. My good friend, former Senator Ben Sass from Nebraska, he says at his house they celebrate scar tissue. So the kids have to be out there on the bikes. They have to be out learning to manage risk as they roam the neighborhood, and we're losing a lot of that. And so we end up with this world where our children are really underprotected online. And they're overprotected everywhere else. We've got helicopter parenting going on. We've got travel teams and all of the things that just micromanage our kids. But online, there's a whole host of things that aren't really all that regulated.
I was gonna bring that up, the travel team issue, because you know Dave and I, you're probably very familiar with the expense and all of the expectations that go along with young kids joining travel teams. So let me get to that in just a moment, because Michelle Goldberg, joining Boyd's show yesterday from the New York Times, she's an opinion columnist there. Now, she writes from a New Yorker's perspective, and she says in her opinion, we need a lot more places like parks and food courts and movie theaters, even video arcades where kids can interact in person. We have a lot of those in our communities here. Maybe that's, you know, they're not as plentiful in, you know, the streets of New York. But I'm looking at some of these parks in my neighborhood, and it's been beautiful weather out. I haven't seen kids by the dozens occupying them. The swings kind of sit empty a lot of times. Now they do get used, but I don't see movie theaters filling up the way they did back in our day. You know, that was a big deal to go to a movie.
Yeah, your parents would drop you off, and the entire theater would be filled with kids. No adults at all, and you were there. So there is definitely a shift in terms of that. And then it's also the fact that the kids just aren't going out there. They don't have that free roam kind of thing. And it's not that they need to be unsupervised. There are reasons to have that,
you
for
want to
sure.
make sure you're
but
okay.
the thing I think we have to look at is, are we encouraging that? Are we creating opportunities for them to do that? Because that is where they learn how to not be bored and stay curious. It's how they actually learn to reach out to not just their easy friend from school, but maybe someone else.
They meet somebody new. Well, I wanted to point out to your point about organized sports where they're travel teams and they cost thousands and thousands of dollars a year. And this was a real drain for us. I think we loved supporting our kids, and our kids had great times and great seasons and all that other good stuff. But the reality of it was, when I started calling around to just get, you know, ideas if there is like parks and rec leagues that were, I don't know, maybe less than $100 for the summer, those were really hard to come by. And when we did find baseball teams in our neighborhood, there were a total of like 3 teams total. And so we were always playing the same kids all the time. It just didn't seem like those existed anymore. And I thought that was really unfortunate for kids that maybe they don't want to play at this level where they're traveling to Boise and back and St. George and back.
And there's so many lessons in that. So, again, travel teams, they have a place. If you're going to be a superstar, you're going to get a college scholarship. Again, the numbers on that are extremely, extremely, slightly less than zero, kind of low in terms of becoming a professional athlete.
Right.
But the more important thing are the other lessons. We actually ran a league years ago where the teams played 2 games every week. One game was for trophies and records and playoffs and on championships. The second game, the parents were not invited. And so suddenly you had that kid who was the star shortstop learning how to play right field or how to support his teammates sitting on the bench instead of being the middle of everything. And so part of it is going to be that adults have to get a little creative and a little curious and ask bigger questions of what are our kids missing by not just showing up at the park and playing baseball for a couple of hours. For fun. And so we're missing so much of that. But again, we're kind of creating these very bubbled kids. I mean, if the kid has to decide if he or she is going to be a second baseman by the time they're in second grade, that's telling you something. And all of the lessons that go with learning all the different positions, learning how to support your team members, not being the center of the action. That to me, that's one of the most important leadership principles we could teach our kids. How do you lead from any point on the compass as opposed to just being the superstar?
And I think we have for far too long underinvested in a lot of these areas.
Yeah.
You can't talk to a city in this state, the Parks and Rec Department, that isn't completely and totally underfunded, that is not begging for assistant coaches and volunteer coaches because there's just no resources. When I've coached, and I've coached a lot of rec teams, I was once given one bat, one helmet, and 3 baseballs. Like that's what I was given.
Yeah.
I had to go get out my own catcher's gear and a catcher's glove and all these things. And it's because we are not valuing this as a community.
Yeah.
If we want to invest in it, into not just parks, but into the programs themselves, then it might cost you a few pennies, which we totally are fine with when it comes to school bonds. But heaven forbid we put a shortstop with a real glove on.
Yeah, or a trombonist with a real trombone.
Well,
exactly.
And it's also a step to get kids off the couch, off their phones, and away from social media because out of sight, out of mind. I know I feel that way when my phone gets left behind by accident. I drove away the other day, you guys, without my phone, and I almost turned around and went back, and I thought, you know what?
Yeah.
It can wait, and that felt so good, and our kids need to know that feeling.
They need that because, again, it goes full circle to where we started. If we lose that, we're going to lose a whole lot more. We've already seen it in the mental health, the depression, suicide, anxiety, all of those things. But it's also just the humanity and the dignity that we find as we interact with each other.
Thank you, Boyd. This segment of the Dave and Dujanovic Show was brought to you by Window World of Utah. You can check them out. Give them a call today for the best value in windows and doors, and that's no baloney.
And you can also listen to Boyd's full interview with Michelle Goldberg, the opinion editor of the New York Times, who wrote about getting kids off their phones and getting them out of the house to have more fun on your favorite podcast platform. He podcasts his show every single day, just like we do. Straight ahead, we've got new information about the case of a Utah author. She wrote a children's book. She's now an accused killer. Corey Richens, her mother may have helped in her husband's alleged murder. That is the latest information coming from News Nation. We're going to ask them about that next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
You know KSL is the only news radio for your car, right?
The only news radio for your smart speaker.
Come here in the morning. It's the latest news and traffic. In the afternoon, news and updated weather.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
The big surprise in the Big 12.
Dallin Hall to Spencer Johnson for 3. That's good!
BYU.
I can speak for everybody in the program. We say that we're just blessed to even be in this tournament.
Love you, Cougs. Let's go. Thursday, the Cougars face off against the Duquesne Dukes in round 1 of the NCAA tournament. Special extended pregame starts at 9 with tip-off at 10:40 on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars. KSL News Radio.
We've had some weather issues. We've had some big winds. We've had snowstorms, which reminds me, Debbie, with the weather changes, blackouts are more prevalent. And, you may want to consider a standby generator.
You've also gotten an electric vehicle recently. So imagine if the power goes out and you have no way to charge your car at home. Or what about, our grandparents? Maybe they're on a medical device and they need to have continuous power going. And that's where Master Electrical comes in, and they can bid you on a brand new generator.
Yeah, Master Electrical's generator department is a premier dealer for Generac. They not only sell, but they also service and install these things.
Yeah, they maintain the highest standards on your generators as well. So they have different financing options. They'll fit almost any budget. So just give them a call.
Yeah, 801-543-2222 is the best way to give them a call. Just ask them about their Generac generators, the standby generators, 801-543-2222.
And don't forget to ask about those financing options that'll fit your budget. You can also check them out online at masterelectrical.com.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online. Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
It's gonna be here before you know it.
Here comes the summer, like a wave of change.
Soda Weight Loss wants to help you look amazing in your swimsuit and shorts, but you got to get started right now at sodaweightloss.com. No time? Try Soda's at-home program with all the support you need online.
I didn't realize how unhealthy I was. When you start losing the weight, even that first 5 pounds, this enormous amount of confidence starts to build in you. You start to realize, oh, this is possible for me.
That's Lauren, and she let go of 35 pounds with Soda. With their help, I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months. That's because Soda works. It's why they have more than 8,700 Google reviews and countless before and after pictures and videos of people loving their results. Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Sodas, say it with me, state of the art.
The time has finally come. Royalty has returned to Utah. The Utah Royals are back. Join us as head coach Amy Rodriguez leads the charge along stars like Ali Sentnor, Imani Dorsey, Maddie Bogarch, and more as they embark on their new reign at America First Field. Don't miss a moment of the action. Secure your spot in the stand by becoming a season ticket member for as low as $21 per month. Plus, enjoy exclusive perks like discounts at the team store, early access to events, and more. Tickets are available now. Visit UtahRoyals.com or call 844-REAL-TIX.
Healthcare with human kindness is here. It's at Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Together, we have a common purpose, partnering with you in health and healing using powerful medicine, powerful technology, and the greatest power of all, human kindness. You'll know it when you see it, because human kindness is in every care site and in every caregiver. Common Spirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
Hey, I use the KSL News Radio app every single day, multiple times a day. And I think one of the best things about it is it's totally free to download it. And that's where I get all my latest news headlines. And I even listen to Tim and Amanda every morning on the Utah's Morning News right on my app.
Now, this is different than the KSL app. This is the KSL News Radio app designed specifically for KSL News Radio.
So download it now. It's totally free. Stay up to date. You also get push notifications as well. So the minute a new story drops, you're going to get a push notification to your phone and you can click on it. And you can also watch us on the app every day as well as listen to the Dave and Dujanovic show on the KSL News Radio app.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, an explosion and fire killed a woman in American Fork this morning, while another woman in the same duplex survived. Second, police say a man who led officers on a chase through Kearns and Taylorsville yesterday has a history of weapons violations. Third, a federal appeals court put a Texas law on hold in the middle of the night, keeping state authorities there from arresting and deporting people who cross the border illegally. 57 degrees and sunny right now in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic.
If you've been following the case out of Summit County, Park City area, this mother's name, she was a wife as well. Her name is Corey Richens, and she's been accused of poisoning her husband to death with fentanyl in March of 2022. So it's been a couple of years now, but now there's some new information that has surfaced in the case, and News Nation's going to join us in a minute and give us the latest, Dave.
Yeah, this involves Corey Richens' mother, who may have played a role in this, which is really shocking, a twist to a story that already is very, very odd. Kelsey Kernstein with News Nation joins us right now. What is the latest on this odd and strange puzzle we've seen here?
Yeah, hey, Dave and Debbie. You guys really said it. This really is a bizarre new twist in this case. So really what we're learning here is that according to this unsealed search warrant, Richens' mother, former lover, also died from a drug overdose back in April of 2006. So now it's leading investigators to really speculate whether her mother played a role in her son-in-law's death. So what's really interesting here is that according to the search warrant, detectives say that Richens' mother, Lisa Darden, had a romantic relationship with a woman. That woman then died suddenly. And according to investigators, when they further looked into the case, an autopsy found that she died from an oxycodone overdose. Her partner had a prescription for that drug, but she also struggled with addiction. Also really interesting to point out here, and really similar to the daughter's case, it says in this search warrant that Darden was named as a beneficiary in her partner's will shortly before she died. So this is very similar to the daughter's case. These are really quite shocking parallels here, and for investigators, they're really saying it's raising a lot of red flags. So if we go back to the case of Corey Richens, she's 34 years old now. She's been charged for allegedly murdering her husband after giving him a Moscow Mule. We know that cocktail was laced with a lethal amount of fentanyl before he went back to bed. That was back in March of 2022. And prosecutors saying that the motive for her in that case was to cash in on at least 5 life insurance policies that she had taken out in her husband's name. I have reached out to both attorneys in this case. They've not commented. We're also learning that Corey Richens, her next preliminary hearing date is set for April 17th. Of course, all of this is raising a lot of questions, and if this is true, it really is quite bizarre.
Kelsey Kernstein with News Nation on the line with us live talking about the Corey Richens case. This incident's it's garnered national news. It's also been a major local news story as well because they lived in the Summit County area, and Corey had written a children's book. And I recall, Kelsey, that children's book kind of detailed grief, and particularly children dealing with grief. And now she's been accused in the death of her husband. She is awaiting trial. And my understanding is that investigators searched a couple of cell phones after this started to unfold, Kelsey. Do you know if they searched her mom's cell phone as well? Or was it just Corey's cell phones or other cell phones in the Richens home?
So they searched several other cell phones, and really what this has to do with is they were kind of tracking down her acquaintances. And that is just to get more information. And then when they started digging, that is when they found kind of this interesting information from back in 2006 that her mother's former lover also died from a drug overdose. So there's that speculation. Could she have helped her, or did this give her the idea to do this as well? We also have to remember that she gained international attention, not international, but I would say more national attention after she wrote that children's book. It was being sold on Amazon. She was doing press on it, and it's a children's book that kind of teaches children how to cope with grief. And then lo and behold, then she's being charged for the murder of her husband after an overdose. I was also reading a little bit more about their story. It's interesting. I was reading that she worked at Home Depot. She met him because he was a construction worker that would often, he had his own construction company, he would oftentimes come in. And really from what I've read, they seemed like a happy, well-to-do couple. And, you know, people in the area are shocked that this even happened, that he died from this overdose. And it was all after he was given a lethal laced fentanyl dose of a cocktail, Moscow Mule.
Is there an investigation being opened up into the mother, or is this just connecting dots and seeing coincidences?
You know, that is not exactly clear to me at this point. They are continuing to investigate this. There's some, you know, in this search warrant, there are some really odd quotes that say, I'll read a couple of them to you. One says, after her partner died unexpectedly, it says that she was not in the state of recovery from addiction at the time of her death. Now, the search warrant goes on to say that based on my training and experience, this is from a detective, this would likely rule out the possibility of an accidental overdose. So this is just really interesting language here. I don't want to speculate, but it is interesting. It would be very interesting if they decide to reopen that case.
Well, thank you so much for the latest. Kelsey Kernstein with News Nation. Great reporting. Thank you.
I also want to point out that KSL TV on KSLTV.com, Corey Richards' attorney responded to KSL 5 Television's request for comment about this latest development. And the attorney says Summit County is well aware that opioid addiction and fentanyl overdose is a rampant problem throughout the country, that 150 people, according to the CDC, die every day from overdoses related to synthetic opioids like fentanyl. And it goes on to say the fact that Ms. Darden's significant other was one of the millions that suffered from and ultimately succumbed to opioid addiction is hardly suspicious. It is tragic and unfortunately quite common. And the fact that Ms. Darden was the beneficiary of her romantic partner's life insurance policy is also not unique. It only demonstrates that her circumstances are no different than most families in America. To suggest otherwise is nothing more than a baseless conspiracy theory. Wanted to make sure we got that attorney's response to KSL Television in about this latest allegation that has surfaced with this case regarding Corey Richards. We'll continue to follow that case very closely with the help of not only News Nation, but certainly our entire team here at KSL News Radio.
It's 11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. One woman was killed, but another survived this morning when a duplex exploded and caught fire in American Fork. Battalion Chief Brandon Bouchard says firefighters from several different agencies are now helping with the investigation.
They're going to help us shore up this building, and then the digging will commence, and it is a long process.
The woman who survived wasn't hurt badly enough to have to go to the hospital. A dog that was inside at the time also came through in good shape. Utah's governor has officially signed the bills now to help fund 2 new professional sports stadiums in Salt Lake City. The first raises the state's rental car tax rate and sets up taxes in a new district around the Fair Park, where they could end up building a new Major League Baseball stadium. The second bill raises Salt Lake City's sales tax by 0.5%, which would help fund a new home for the Utah Jazz and a potential National Hockey League franchise, though that tax still needs to be approved by the Salt Lake City Council. In the meantime, the governor has until tomorrow to sign any bills remaining on his desk. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average and the NASDAQ have been trading in a narrow range right now, just a few points. And our KSL weather looks like today's sunshine will be followed by cloudy skies tomorrow and Friday. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:31.
Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
In the history of the world, nobody has ever said, "Yay, we need a new roof." But when things aren't quite right up there, don't wait. Call IWC Roofing, the highest-rated roofing contractor in Utah. IWC has been in business since 1997, and they offer the best value pricing in Utah, along with the best warranty in the business. They're one of the few Owens Corning Platinum-certified roofers in the entire state. They have their own installers, no subcontractors crawling around on your roof, and at IWC Roofing, they'll send you pictures from up on the roof to show that you're getting exactly what you paid for. In most cases, they'll re-roof your home in one day. They'll clean up and pressure wash your driveway. IWC roofs more homes than any other company in Utah, so they can offer you a better price, and right now, an extra $1,500 off your new roof. Call IWC Roofing for a no-pressure quote, 801-232-5690. Call 801-232-5690 or go to IWCRoofingUtah.com.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online. Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
IVC, Interventional Vascular and Vein Center, is having a Hello Spring special event on Saturday, March 23rd. This will be a free screening for varicose veins at their office in Provo. Don't let leg pain slow you down. Come and learn why starting now is ideal to get you ready for summer. IVC has been in business for over 20 years and has been voted the best vein center of Utah Valley for 10 years running. IVC's doctors, advanced practice providers, and sonographers will be on hand to answer your questions. So stop in to IVC on Saturday, March 23rd for a free varicose vein screening. Space is limited, so please RSVP right now. Let's spring new life into your step. Visit ivein.com. ivein.com. That's the letter I, VEIN.com to schedule your new year, new legs free screening at IVC. Because life starts when the pain stops.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
I-15 and the rest of your Valley freeways are in great shape. In Utah County, though, we do have a crash on Highway 6. It's going to be about a mile east of Diamond Fork in Spanish Fork Canyon. Need a perfect event venue? There's a place. This is the place, Heritage Park. Ideal for weddings, events, featuring 11 venues, beautiful grounds, affordability for any celebration. Call or visit thisistheplace.org. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Our KSL weather, sunny today, clouds building up tomorrow and Friday, temperatures stay in the 60s, then rain is likely Saturday and Sunday. Right now, 57 degrees and sunny. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
The BYU Cougs have made it to the big dance. We are so excited for BYU and all the BYU fans, including, I'm very excited for you, Dave. They kick off the tournament. They kick off their tournament play tomorrow morning. The game starts. Tip-off is 10:40 against Duquesne, which means there won't be any D2 tomorrow. Oh, actually, I meant. Dave
I
and I
want
are
to watch the game.
Sleeping in, so Matt and Mitch can take over the microphones at 10 o'clock in the morning. They're live in Omaha, and that's where are the Cougs there by now, you think, Dave?
I'm sure they're there. Yeah, you got to be there early. If you're looking for tickets, There are $5 tickets still available.
Where?
Right now. Online, you can just go. You can still get in. I mean, you're going to be in the nosebleed of nosebleeds for $5, but there's still tickets available. Here's the downside. I also looked at how much a flight would cost to get to Omaha, Nebraska.
I thought you were talking about tickets here locally to watch some of the
No, I'm talking about going to the BYU game.
I got to go to
tomorrow's
Omaha.
game.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead. If you want to go to Omaha, you could drive, I guess, and maybe still make it.
No,
but
you can't.
If you could make it, it's going to take a lot of gas and very little sleep and a lot of Red Bull. But if you were to fly, I've got a 7:07 a.m. flight leaving. It's going to take you about 5 hours on the flight. It will cost you $727.
Is that one
person.
way?
No, that's round trip.
$727.
But the ticket once you get there is only $5.
Well, I would imagine a lot of the BYU fans that are going have already long since left.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Now, you've covered the big dance before.
Oh, yeah. Lots of times.
This is such a cool thing for BYU.
This is one of the premier sporting events in the world. This is billions and billions of dollars that gets sent to the NCAA, that students benefit from it. It's the Super Bowl, but it's spread out over a month. It is incredible.
Mitch Harper, are you there in Omaha?
I am. I'm here in Omaha. BYU just wrapped up practice, and everyone pretty much accounted for on the BYU team. They look ready to go and get ready for their battle against Duquesne tomorrow.
Mitch, this team is so interesting because the last time that the BYU's really made a run in the NCAA tournament, I mean, this is Jimmer. It's a big name. But this BYU team is so different because you don't have that one singular huge name. It really is a collective group.
It's so true. And, I think that's why they feel they have the ability to make a run because, they're only one of two teams in this NCAA tournament that have 9 players in their careers that have scored at least 20 points as a career high. So they've had a well-balanced team that can attack you with a lot of different players. So and they lean into shooting the three. That's the strength of this team. They're going to fire off at least 30 3-pointers in a game, and if they can hit at least 10 of them, they're going to be in a position to really defeat anyone in this tournament.
Mitch Harper, BYU insider, host of Cougar Sports Saturday. He's live in Omaha, Nebraska, and that's where the Cougs are tipping off tomorrow at 10:40. Mitch and Matt taking over the microphones, right? Tomorrow at 9 a.m. right here on KSL News Radio. You'll have live coverage.
That's right. Extended pregame. We'll have you covered here in Omaha. Just got done talking with Mark Pope and BYU players, Dallin Hall, Jackson Robinson. This is a pretty confident team. They feel good about where they're at right now, and they feel loose, which is different for BYU teams in the past. And I think that being in the Big 12 has kind of battle-tested this group where they feel like they're ready more than ever before for this stage.
Now, we have seen quite remarkably this team outperform expectations. They've proven they can beat anybody on any given night. They've also gone through some ice-cold stretches and have shown that they could lose to anybody as well when they go cold.
Definitely. And, you kind of got an example of that last week at the Big 12 tournament when, they knocked down 14 threes against UCF and they won by double figures. And then against Texas Tech the following day, they only knocked down 7 threes and they weren't even competitive. So, BYU, if they can hit the three, that's going to be key for them. I think the benchmark that you look at for BYU is if they hit 10 threes, they've knocked down 360 threes this year, which is a program record. They're one of only, 2 teams in college basketball that attempted more three-point shots than twos this year. They lean into that. So they have to knock down that three-point shot. And if they do, they're going to be in position to, again, win any game because what we've learned in college basketball this year is that there is no elite team. There's a lot of good teams, a lot of teams that, took some losses, but, BYU's kind of in that fray among, those really good teams. So I'm very curious to see how they perform tomorrow against a Duquesne team that's a heavy underdog.
Mitch, before we let you go, have you bumped into any BYU fans back there in Omaha?
Most of the BYU fans here so far that I've run into have been part of the travel party with the BYU team. I would expect that there's going to be a nice contingent of BYU fans showing up tomorrow. There were some fans at the team hotel to greet the team yesterday, kind of fans here based in Nebraska, but not many yet. I know there was a little bit of a letdown for Cougar fans in Utah that they weren't going to be able to see their team in Salt Lake City, but I got to imagine BYU fans will find a way to get in here to Omaha tomorrow.
Yeah, or listen to you starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and then, of course, listen to the game right here on KSL News Radio. Tip-off is at 10:40. Mitch, have fun in Omaha. Go Cougs.
Yeah, thanks, David Debbie.
It really is a fun team. This is as fun a basketball team as I've seen in a while because they don't have the superstar. They share it. They're unselfish. They have some really unique things about their team and the way they run their offense. It's kind of like the Golden State Warriors of college basketball. They just jack up threes like crazy.
If people want to catch a game here, they can do so, right, at the Delta Center?
Yeah, we've got March Madness going on here as well.
I think that's fun.
This is something that we have done here in Salt Lake for decades. The NCAA tournament has a long history of playing games here. I remember when the UNLV Runnin' Rebs of 1990 were playing up at the Huntsman Center. It was the best college basketball team I've ever seen. I got to see them in person, and there really is a special thing about March Madness, the NCAA tournament, that is intoxicating. Everybody will be watching it. I think I was sick every Thursday of my entire life for round one of the NCAA. It's because I was staying home from school so I could watch basketball.
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
I was winky sick.
I see.
I was
okay.
sick,
I didn't catch on to that because I was like, you're a sports producer. Why would you call in
How could you be sick?
Oh, thanks so much. I look forward to tomorrow's coverage, extended coverage right here on KSL News Radio starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. And no, I won't be sleeping in. I will be listening to Tim and Amanda in the morning. And then, of course, at 9 o'clock, where our extended coverage begins at 9 a.m. and tip-off is just after 10:30. So keep it right here on KSL News Radio. Straight ahead, Maria Chaleos has been doing some great research and work regarding incidents of colon cancer. And you might think, oh, that's just an old person's disease. But there's new information that has surfaced that says that deaths among people who are 55 years and younger from colon cancer are up. She's going to tell us what she knows about why next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave and Debbie go out of their way to make sure you hear all sides of a story.
They're working the phones to get several viewpoints on for you.
Hi, it's Tim and Amanda. We get you the full story, too.
We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Is your mobile hotspot not getting it done? Get an on-the-go connection you can count on with Now Wi-Fi Pass. It's just $10 for 30 days. Sometimes you need fast internet, like right now, no matter where you are, because your favorite gamer's live stream isn't going to wait for you to get home, and neither will your boss who's standing by in a video conference that you totally forgot about. So when you get the need for speed, you can connect in seconds with Now Wi-Fi Pass to over 22 million Wi-Fi hotspots nationwide. You don't need any additional equipment, and there are no commitments and no cancellation fees. That means you can dip in and out whenever you want, no strings attached. Now through April 24th, get 30 days of Xfinity Wi-Fi hotspot access and unlimited data for only $10 with no commitments and no cancellation fees. Visit xfinity.com/Wi-Fi Pass to find a hotspot today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas after promo. Regular rates apply, currently $20 for 30 days. Pricing subject to change. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Devotion to country, service to Utah. Brent Orrin Hatch had a front row seat, watching his father serve our state faithfully in the Senate. A constitutional conservative and lifelong Republican, Brent Orrin Hatch is a champion for the rule of law. He's running for Senate to stop this lawless president from destroying our country from within. Hatch will fight to secure the border once and for all and take on Mexican drug cartels to halt the flow of deadly fentanyl. Brent Orrin Hatch knows the national debt is just as big a threat to national security. Hatch won't rest until the budget's balanced and won't cave to the big spenders in both parties. Pro-life, deeply committed to religious liberty, rock-solid Utah conservative. Brent Orrin Hatch for Senate. Paid for by Conservative Outsider PAC, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.copac.us.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. One of Salt Lake City's newest areas is the Maven District, a curated block of locally owned businesses working to create a community of walkable shops, eateries, and offices that believe in diverse communities, self-growth, and dreaming big. Founder Tessa Arneson joins us with more.
Maven District is the proud home of Salt Lake City's largest community of women-owned small businesses. With over 100 locally owned shops, food, offices, and wellness services, our neighborhood is located on the corner of 900 South and 200 East. We recently opened Maven Lofts, a collection of one-bedroom affordable apartments with 7 micro retail spaces and a restaurant space with a rooftop garden. The part of the project I'm most excited about is our boutique hotel, which offers a perfect spot for work or play. Overall, our goal is to make our city cooler and easier to tackle your dreams in. A few of the ways we are doing this is by lowering the barrier of entry to start your business with easy leases for small spaces to promote diversity among our businesses, and by creating a friendly, walkable neighborhood for all. And don't forget to come visit our fitness studio, Maven Strong, or our co-working space, Maven Create, with promo code FREEDAY. Learn more at mavendistrict.com.
From townhomes to co-working spaces to ice cream and jewelry shops, you never know what you might find in Salt Lake City's new neighborhood, the Maven District. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
You know, I use the KSL News Radio app every single day, multiple times a day. It is so handy. It's right there on my phone. It's totally free, and I can get my news updates, and I can also listen to any of the shows I want, including Boyd Matheson's, which starts at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
I love the push notifications for all the latest breaking news. The KSL News Radio app is fantastic.
Absolutely. Download it now. It just takes a couple of seconds. Again, it's KSL News Radio app. Totally free.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, firefighters from all over Utah County responded to an explosion and fire that killed one woman in American Fork this morning. Second, Governor Cox has signed bills that would provide funding for Major League Hockey and baseball stadiums. And third, police picked up a couple of junior high school students who were firing shots from a handgun this morning in Taylorsville. Right now, 59 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
This has been some shocking developments in the world of cancer. It has to do with colon cancer, and I've been seeing a lot of coverage on this, and thankfully our very own Maria Chaleos has been looking into it as well to give us some tips and some insights on what's going on. But according to data from the American Cancer Society, Dave, colon cancer is at the top of the list for cancer deaths. And what's surprising about this is for people under the age of 55 years old.
And that's a little bit of an aha moment for me, because that has always felt like, oh, that's something my parents do, right? That's something for, when you get way older. But the last time I went to the doctor, he's like, you haven't had a colon screening yet? He's like, yeah, we're doing that today. So they arranged that immediately. It's not all colonoscopies anymore, folks. There's other ways to do it where they can test you. But yeah, it's something that they're, I think, really making a move on with younger folks in their 40s and 50s.
Maria Chaleos, of course, you'll hear her coming up here in about 8 minutes right here on KSL News Radio with all the day's news. But you're also the host of Let's Get Moving with Maria, which is a great podcast, great information. And you spoke about to an expert on this issue. What did you learn, Maria?
Well, the first thing I learned, and the reason we did this interview, is because I was surprised to learn that women were also in the top up there. It's not just men, women. It's also number 2 cause of death for women. So that to me really shook me. I have a brother-in-law who died of colon cancer in his mid-40s. So I thought I knew this stuff, right? And I didn't realize that so many women were also impacted and so many younger people due to this new data.
It's one of those things we don't like talking about because we know that the screenings can be a little embarrassing or uncomfortable. We also don't want to think about the worst case scenarios as well. So did your physician assistant talk about it all, kind of getting over some of that stigma?
Yeah, but the first thing that she says, a colonoscopy, Dave, is 98% effective at finding colon cancer. And you need to find colon cancer early. So anyone over the age of 40 should be thinking about getting a screening because this is completely preventable, right? You get a colonoscopy, they find some polyps, they remove them. This is something that you can prevent. So that was the first thing. And you mentioned that there are other tests. There are other tests, like there's a fecal test that you can take if you want to get that. One of those things that you want to talk about, but that's not very effective, and it usually means you have to have a second test. And if it shows anything, you still need to go and have a colonoscopy. And getting over that stigma, it's just one of those things in life. You go to your general practitioner for an appointment once a year, and it's just one of those things you do.
I mean, I thought, the prep was probably the worst of it, but that was the day before, and when I got there, that was the easy part. They even put you to sleep. I got a little free nap out of it. It was
to get a nap. You don't remember a thing.
Yeah, and they said they looked at it. Everything was fine. Come back in 10 years. I do want to play this part of your podcast, Maria, with Allison Sabin.
Mm-hmm.
Sabin, yeah, she's a physician's assistant at Utah Gastroenterology, and she joined your show, and this portion of this conversation had to do with like how to watch out, like things to do to maybe, try to help prevent it.
I don't know that we know an exact cause for the increase. There are certain factors that increase risk. So lifestyle factors, being overweight or obese, diets that are higher in red meats, processed food, smoking, higher alcohol use. So it may be in part some of that contributing to it.
Just give us some tips for folks on how to lead a healthier lifestyle so that they don't have problems like colon cancer.
So just general things you can do lifestyle-wise to reduce your risk for colon cancer. One of the biggest is if you are smoking, to stop smoking. They do recommend not doing moderate to high alcohol use. So kind of the general guidelines for alcohol are 2 drinks a day or less for men, 1 drink a day or less for women. And then to be getting a diet with good variety in it. So whole foods, fruits, vegetables, lean meat, and trying to avoid overly processed foods.
Smoking and alcohol. That is so interesting to me because I wouldn't have really connected smoking to colon cancer.
Right. But whenever you are doing something to your body, giving it some sort of poison, alcohol turns right to sugar, which turns right to fat. So whenever you are doing any of those things, they do affect your overall health. And when you reduce your overall health, then, of course, you have a better chance of getting these things.
Well, I think to hear red meat, too, because I know a lot of my guy friends love to have a really good steak. I've got away from red meat years ago, and I haven't missed it. Occasionally a hamburger or something like that, but I eat a lot of chicken and turkey and all the boring stuff, Maria.
Leaner versions.
Yeah, and I think fiber is really important, too. I've learned that over the years, and so take a daily dose of fiber. And I think that, is there anything that we need to be watching for, like in between those screenings? Because 10 years can feel like a really long time when you're waiting for that next test. And I'm sure if you were worried, you could call up and get in sooner. But are there some certain telltale signs that we need to be watching for?
There is only one sign, and that is blood in your stool. And that is why they are so anxious about people getting the colonoscopy, because you want to find out before there's a problem like that. Because once you find blood in your stool, you have a much bigger problem on your hands.
And oftentimes, even during the colonoscopy, if they find a polyp or something, they can just remove it
they take
right
care
there.
of it right then. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is in part why you say it's 98%
effective
at
catching
it.
Yes.
And if you catch it early, obviously you can catch it in the early stages. So thank you.
Maria, one question. When should we start screening? I've heard I got it 50. That was the first that I was told to go do it, and I did it. But I've heard for some people it might even be younger, like if you have a history.
They are saying over 40, anyone who is 45 and older is now recommended to
45
get a
and
screening.
over. And I guess if you have a family history, you need to be talking to your doctor.
And then you need to be doing it a lot more often. My husband's had to have his every 3 years. So if you have somebody in the family who's had colon cancer, it's like every 3 years. If you show any signs, it's even more than that.
Maria, this is such great information. Where can people find your podcast?
They can find it. It's Let's Get Moving with Maria on KSLpodcast.com. And hey, check out our great health and fitness tips. Every week we have tips on. You can find them on our socials. Moving Maria on Instagram. Let's Get Moving with Maria on Facebook.
Thanks, Maria.
Love it.
That's great. And Debbie, I will say this: when you're speaking to your doctor and you're talking about this, I know it can be awkward. It's not fun. Again, you've been through the whole colonoscopy thing. I haven't yet. My doctor just said, "Hey, let's do the Cologuard thing," which is you can just send them a sample from the comforts of your own home. It's awkward. It's embarrassing, but at the same time, it's crucial. And if you catch it early enough, if they find some signs, it is very treatable.
Yeah, you remember when I got mine. You remember that. Yeah. I started the process of,
we're drinking. Just drink.
During when we were doing the show here at night. And that was the biggest mistake of my life that I've ever made. But it was actually not that bad. People had said, "Oh, it's just terrible." It wasn't that bad at all. I was so glad I did it. What a relief. Maria, the great stuff. Let's Get Moving with Maria. She's fabulous with great health information and tips. Don't forget, we're not on the air tomorrow because you're going to be listening to the BYU basketball game. The Cougs are playing in Omaha. Tip-off us at 10:30. 10:40. Our pregame coverage starts at 9 a.m.
Up next, the new news with Maria Shilaos. She'll give you the latest on the house explosion in American Fork.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake.